But my life is good. Really good. I get to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and make some soup. It's the best. I love it. I get to lay in a bed by myself all of my life. It's fantastic.
You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses. You right to jail.
Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito?
Oh!
Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
No, there is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay. Ready? Sure.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out.
Sting is going to do. It's a video. Sting video.
What is
for credits?
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a. I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
We obviously didn't communicate clearly. We're here to discuss your surrender, not mine.
Tú eres tan romántico molestando con una vipa. Me preguntas si te quiero. Yo te digo que no estoy lista y no quiero comenzar. No hay nada que empezar. Yo te dejaré atrás. Mientras gano más y más. No estás en mi nivel y tú no eres obligación. No estás motivada y tú aburre mi corazón. Eres un idiota sin inteligencia y razón. Entonces déjame tranquila mientras escriba tu canción. Tú eres tan romántico molestando con una vipa. Me preguntas si te quiero. Yo te digo que no estoy lista y no quiero comenzar. No hay nada que empezar. Yo te dejaré atrás. Mientras gano más y más. No estás en mi nivel y tú no eres obligación. No estás motivado. Corazón. Eres un idiota sin inteligencia y razón. Entonces déjame tranquila mientras escriba tu canción. Estoy aquí a disfrutar. Estoy aquí pero quiero gozar. Si quieres a mí pero vamos a bailar. Cintura a cintura, papi, tra, tra, tra. Bailando, gozando y me gusta tomar. Pero no quiero pendejos que no quieren respetar. Déjame pendejo, papi, ya no más. Déjame pendejo, papi, ya no más. Estoy aquí a disfrutar. Estoy aquí pero quiero gozar. Si quieres a mí pero vamos a bailar. Cintura a cintura, papi, tra, tra, tra. Bailando, gozando y me gusta tomar. Pero no quiero pendejos que no quieren respetar. Déjame pendejo, papi, ya no más. Déjame pendejo, papi, ya no más.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy ASDF, ASDF,
Oh my God, you didn't change your name. As the best man.
As the best live with you on a Thursday. It is Mi Gente Show, live and direct from San Diego, California, Chula Vista, South San Diego, the whole nine, Southern California. What is up, everybody?
What's up, Lou? How you been?
How you doing? How do I change my name again here? I go to
You go to settings.
I go to settings. All right, I'm
I like
familiar.
this name. I like this new identity of yours.
You like ISBBDBDBD?
My pronouns are America.
My pronouns are.
How was speaking of, how was your 4th of July?
Oh, my 4th of July is always stressful because of the dogs.
Oh
So
yeah.
so actually on Wednesday I had to work, and not on Wednesday, on Monday I had to work, and since it was kind of puente, kind of 4th of July Monday, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a lot of fireworks still on Monday, and I was working and I kept looking at my cameras through my phone, and my dogs were freaking out, so I was all stressed. And I came home and chilled them out. And the next day I dosed them up hardcore on some strong CBD, but they were still it's always rough for them. So, you know.
Yeah, and they're big too. So I'm assuming that probably like they rowdy each other up.
Yeah. Also was fine. Also, Shy Girl and Baxter, my older dogs, are the ones that are a little bit freaked out by it, and they just look for places to hide, or they just look to be just all up on me, comforting them nonstop. Also was sort of protecting them. So if Shy Girl went to the corner, also would like lay down in front of her, like sort of protecting her. And then since I'm fostering Milo right now, I have 4 dogs at the house at the moment.
Oh no.
And he's just doesn't care because he's just a puppy. So he was just like, fuck it. You know, he was just
that's cool.
He's like, why don't you want to play? It's like, come on. He's like, I don't know. I'm a fucking war dog. He's a Belgian Malinois. So he's like,
oh my God.
He's all about that action, boss.
He's like, these are just some firecrackers. Chill out, guys.
Yeah, I have zero idea how to change my name. Is it on layout? Is it on
guest? It should be on settings, and then wait, never mind. Lies. In your little corner box, go to your 3 dots, edit name and headline.
Oh, okay. It's just all right. Never mind. I'll just.
Shit! Is Sophia teaching him about StreamYard? What?
It's just
how tables they have turned.
The turns have table. No, it doesn't give me. I'm ASD FSAD for the day. All right, fuck it. Never mind. Let's just commit to the bit. All right, so we're gonna have
right on top of me, right above me.
We have a full packed show here in San Diego. We're gonna be talking about Threads, the latest competition for Twitter. This might be the death. That might be the death knell. We're gonna be talking about SCOTUS, obviously, and Hellscape, because we can't have nice things. And we're gonna be talking about a bunch of other stuff. We're gonna talk to Kenneth Castillo. He's backstage right now. We're gonna bring him on in a few minutes.
So many notifications you're getting, sir.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to mute them. My bad. And we're also going to be talking a little bit later to Rosa from the Daily Chela to talk entertainment. See what she's excited about. I know she got to see Mission Impossible and a few. Maybe she'll give us a little sneak peek if the moratorium is ended. But yeah, this is the part where we talk a little personal news. So, you know, Sophia, let us know what's going on with you. How's the how's Wait What going?
Wait, what is super fun, actually. I'm having a good time, especially because now I've had some of the my castmates on, so it's pretty cool. We're like on episode. I filmed up to episode 8 now, and I've had a few. I've had Madison on. I've had Michelle on. I've had Chieko on. If you're watching it, yeah, they're beloved, and so it's been really cool. Yeah.
And have you been doing everything through StreamYard as well, or?
I have, yeah. So this is coming in handy. This is a great investment. I have been using StreamYard, and it's. I will say the only downside is that it has to be a one take because there's no pausing and right. But other than that, I mean, it's been.
That's what you do it live.
You do it live, and also I get to promote Mi Gente because it always has the little corner thing, and it says Mi Gente Show. So I was like, subscribe to the podcast. Go check it out.
Good. Got it. Nice, good stuff. So we're live here tonight. We're going to be talking to Kenneth a little bit. We'll bring him on in a couple of minutes right now, and we'll talk about everything else going on. What are you excited about this summer?
Oh. I'm excited to get my tan on. I'm excited because it so far has been the gayest season of my life in the sense that like it really feels like I have a community going. Whoa, Baxter, sir. Oh, I kind of want to know what he's barking at though. Okay. No, nothing. All right. Well, I was just saying it's been like probably the gayest summer of my life so far, just because I joined a lesbian kickball team, went all out for last month's Pride, and will continue to go all out for San Diego Pride. And it's just been fun. It's been fun. So I am looking forward to being in the sun a lot, hopefully working on my tan. And that's pretty much it. I don't have travel planned. Oh, wait, I'm going to Florida in September. So there's that. That's technically not the summer. But yeah, just sun. I'm gonna enjoy the heat wave as opposed to,
Yeah, and San Diego gets the summer like a month behind everybody else too. So so because there's been like one summer day so far this year, and everybody else is just regular.
Yeah.
San Diego, 72 degrees, boring.
It's been really sunny lately, though. I was like sunbathing today. I'm like, this is nice. Yeah, I've been taking my dogs to the dog park more. It's nice. It's been nice. What about you?
I'm looking forward to the beach. I'm looking forward to taking Adrian to the beach because he loves the water. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Every weekend.
What beach do you go to?
Usually Silver Strand. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and Comic-Con is in a couple of weeks. That's going to be interesting.
Ooh.
Yes, there's a bunch of stuff happening local in San Diego but yeah, so we're set up for the summer. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff today, but let's go ahead and bring in our guest for the evening so that we can just because there's a lot of topics, and we're going to talk about Kenneth's new movie that's out on Tubi where you can watch it right now. It's called Marigold El Matador.
Yes.
The Matador.
Yes.
And you can watch it right now for free on Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Tubi? Do you watch stuff on Tubi?
I didn't know. So this was actually my first experience because when you sent me the movie, I was like, oh, it's free. It's on Tubi. I'm going to watch it. But I hadn't realized that I'd never used Tubi. And it actually has a really good selection, and it's all free. So it's like, I think it's my new favorite platform now.
Yeah. The Marigold the Matador. You can watch it free on Tubi. I'll put the link in the chat if anybody wants to watch it as well, so we can support. And then we had Kenneth. I had Kenneth on the show probably about a year ago, maybe a little bit more on Fireside Chat. What's up? The kid in you never dies.
Kid in you never dies.
Mr. Artist at Comic-Con. Are you gonna be at Con? What's your booth number so we can come visit you, man? I had Kenneth on about a year or so ago on Fireside Chats, probably a little bit further. We talked about his struggles as a filmmaker in LA. He's done several features and kind of about what's going on in his career. So I figured since the new movie was out on Tubi, we'd bring him on, talk a little bit about it, talk about what's going on in LA, the struggles of filmmakers, trying to support our fellow Latino creatives out there. So let's welcome Mr. Kenneth Castillo to the show.
Woo! Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. It's great to be here. Sofia, Luis, thank you so much for this invite. I love your guys' show, and you guys are always so supportive. So thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. It's good meeting you. I'm excited to talk to you about your career and everything.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, no, it's vast.
Yeah, I can see. And I see that you have Charlie Chaplin in the background, which is like amazing.
Always over my shoulder.
Yeah. That brings me actually to my first question about Cholo Chaplin. How did you come about that idea?
Cholo Chaplin was sort of my first, I had done a feature film before that, but that was my film school essentially. And so when I had finished that film and it went nowhere and did nothing, I was just dying to do something else. And I was in Cuba just on a kind of sabbatical for about 3 weeks. And I was in a town called Cienfuegos, which is named after the Cuban revolutionary Camilo Cienfuegos. And I went into a theater there, an old 1920s theater. And they were showing Charlie Chaplin movies on a reel. And it was full. Like there's nothing really else to do there. So all these Cubans are watching Charlie Chaplin and laughing, and this film print was barely hanging on too. And I kind of was inspired then. I came out and I thought, I want to do like a Chicano version of The Tramp. So I came up with this character of Cholo Chaplin, and he gets into there are very issues that I dealt with, like the Zoot Suit riots, and through the perspective of that character. So I did like 6 short films. I packaged them as a DVD, and then I showed up to all the LA film festivals that rejected it, and I passed them out. And that got the attention of a producer, and he loved the concept, but it was only 5-6 minutes short. So it was only 30 minutes of content. So they wanted to do a feature, and I said, well, I have another urban film. That's my genre, and I can have that to you by April if you guys have a budget. And they said, yeah, we want to do 3 films. And that's sort of how it took off. And I've just kept the moniker of Cholo Chaplin on some of my social media handles. So he's sort of like my Mickey Mouse.
Have you ever cosplayed as Cholo Chaplin?
I had to once, because when I went to the Cannes short film corner back in 2007, and I had a friend who was in marketing, and he was making me life-size standees of my characters from pictures, but I needed to do a new one for Cholo Chaplin, and the actor wasn't available that played him. So I had to don the outfit and do everything. So I have a standee of me as Cholo Chaplin.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Keithan, of course I know. I know your name, Keithan. I was just having a brain fart right there. Keithan, let's hook up at Comic-Con this year, brother. Slay by Vegetables, thank you for stopping by. He says, I love Charlie Chaplin films, although I do have Buster Keaton tattooed on my arm instead.
No problem. Just Google on YouTube Cholo Chaplin. I think you'll enjoy them.
Yeah, yes, they're all on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I have them all on YouTube. I did end up doing like 13 episodes, and I did one of. He's an adult in most of them, and then I have a child. Have a 10-year-old version of Cholo Chaplin. We did 2 or 3 episodes of him as a child.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, obviously, we'll get into your career a little bit. I know we talked a little bit, a refresher of kind of like that. So you do Cholo Chaplin, that gets you, and then you take a bad situation and you make it better, right? Because you take these rejections that you get from these film festivals, and you show up, you distribute this, and then from there you get your first deal. How many films have you made from there till Marigold?
Well, with that particular company, I think I made 3, actually 4. And then I made 2 for outside of a different production company. And then Marigold is actually from my production company, which is entitled Cienfuegos Productions. So it's the first film that I produced under that banner. But in total, I've done 7 feature films. I've gotten them all distributed. So because Marigold was the last one that I did not get distribution on, and I completed it 7 years ago. So I just didn't want, at that time, independent film, Luis, independent film keeps changing, especially distribution models. It's getting harder and harder to make money. So I just held on to it. And then TUBI came along, and it's very indie filmmaker friendly. And our Gente watches it. So that's what my work is for. And so I used an aggregator and got it on there, and also Amazon Prime. And if they do well, other that's playing in Europe as well. There's a couple of channels in Europe that it's playing in. So
what do you describe as Kurt?
We both giggled a little. I saw it.
Sophia said, it looks like Sophia sitting in a chair with the way it does.
I didn't realize it. Look.
We're matching.
I couldn't unsee it after that. I'm like, wow.
Really now I'm not going to be able to unsee it. Yeah.
I'm going to force myself to stay in this position the whole time.
Listen, we'll change the background a little bit here. All right.
There you go.
How would you describe Marigold? Because, on the surface, it feels very magical, very sort of like, it feels like a little departure from your normal genres. Obviously, Cholo Chaplin's one thing, but then you're mostly in like the urban sort of, drama crime sort of genre. And what is it? Was it a certain moment in your life where you wanted to do something that was a departure from your normal? Was it something that you had always been thinking about? Was it where did that concept begin?
That's a great question. I know exactly how it came about. You're right. It's very different. I love my logo. It's such a great, cool logo, but it's very different than my other films in the sense of the style. In terms of it being what I call a story from the neighborhood, it's still there, and it is very urban still. We don't deal with any particular crime, but I guess there is a little bit in there. But the way it came about was after my 6th film, I was working with a production company, and we had such a great shoot, and I was really excited about the prospect of kind of upping our game. I had built a relationship with this company and a company of actors that I was using multiple times in different roles. That was my big vision. And the company decided that they wanted to do things cheaper and quicker. So I wasn't interested in doing that. And I was trying to convince them to, let's get some star Latino talent in there. Let's like Counterpunch was essentially what I did with that. I got star talent like a Danny Trejo and Stephen Bauer with up and coming talent like Alvaro Orlando. And that's how I think you bring people up, right? So that was my initial goal. And I had done that and it was successful. So they were looking to change completely and do, not focus so much on quality, not focus so much on they wanted to lower the budgets. So what ended up happening was a pair of actors that I worked with and had a lot of love and respect for decided to underbid me and said to the production company, well, we know how Ken does what he does, so we'll do it for that price. We want to do our own film. So, but they're not filmmakers and they have terrible taste in storytelling. So, I was a little, taken back by that. Like and they were literally just taking my crew and kept calling me and asking me, well, how did you do this? Or how did you do that? And because I had love and respect for them, I was very open. And then I realized, I'm like, you guys got to find your own way. I go, you already underbid me and you want to do these cheap movies. That's fine. But, I'm not going to help you any more than that. You got to find your own process. So that's essentially when I got out of it. I was like, if my process is that easily copied, then I need to do something completely fresh, completely different. And I decided that, I was bartending at the time and I had this giant window that looked out at downtown LA. And there's all this life, of course, that's happening. And a particular single mom with her 2 kids caught my attention because I would see her leave very late at night. And I started working on a story, but I didn't want to write a script because my mind wasn't there. I wanted to shoot. I wanted to direct. So I came up with scenarios. I incorporated my own family story about my uncle who was a paranoid schizophrenic, was homeless for a while, but managed to get on medication and live a productive life. I kind of took his story and I started taking little personal things and putting them all together. And so I didn't have any money. And I mean, I had no money. So I decided we were going to prep like 2 weeks and shoot 2 days. So I would bartend extra shifts to finance those 2 days. And I did that. And I was going to shoot the entire movie in 7 days. And all the principal photography took place in 7 days. And I got the best of the actors that I've worked with in the past. One of them being my wife, who plays Lily, who's the mom, the single mom. Camila Banus, who plays Marigold older. She was in Counterpunch, and she's also Gabby on Days of Our Lives. And then Ivan Basso, who plays El Toro. He's been in 4 of my films, and it's just one of the most amazing actors that I've worked with, one of the most amazing actors that I know that Hollywood hasn't discovered yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was how that whole process came about. So there is no script. The only thing scripted was the scene in the restaurant between Violet and Lily, the mother and daughter, the grandmother and the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a complete takeoff of what the stuff that you normally did. That was as they say, that was a brave choice.
Yeah, there was no guarantee it would work. So
what has been the reaction so far?
People have really gotten it. I get people who are telling me, it's lyrical, it's poetic. That's exactly what I was going for. I've had people watch it and bring their own stories into it, which is part of my goal. I don't say what happens to the mother. I don't say what they're leaving, what situation they're leaving from. I don't say why the daughter seems so alone, as she's going into college when she's older. There are a lot of things I leave up to the audience, and a lot of the audience members have reached out to me, and fans have reached out to me saying, "Oh, was it about this?" And they invoke their own stories into it, which is essentially what I love, because once the movie is out there, it's not mine anymore. It's the audience's, and they're going to bring their experiences to the story that I'm telling. So I really love that I was given enough space, but also enough detail and enough character to keep people interested, but also for them to come to their own conclusions about certain things happening. and then using the kind of bullfight imagery is the little girl kind of going from girlhood to womanhood.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And what inspired you to have Marigold be the bullfighter and the homeless man be the bull in that scenario?
One of the first treatments I wrote was, God, when I first started, probably over 20 years ago. I was really enamored with this female bullfighter named Cristina Sanchez, who was in Spain, and she was real popular. And it's a very macho sport, so she went through a hell, becoming a bullfighter. And her dad taught her. And her story was just amazing to me. And I wrote it down. I go, I'm gonna do her story someday. But if you did a film today about a bullfighter, I don't think it would do very well. Look, when I first started posting pictures that I was doing Marigold the Matador, I got hate online from people saying, I'm not going to support this film. It's bullfighting, it's barbaric, it's this, and I'm like, no bulls were hurt in this. It's like. And that was just from making it an image, using it as a metaphor, and so that's I said, I'm never going to do that film, so let me try and incorporate that imagery here and make it Day of the Dead, which is also kind of symbols that I use in a lot of my films. And I thought it just worked really well. And my stepmother-in-law is a seamstress, so she made the suit of lights for and it just came out amazing. I still have it, and if we might do a screening in LA, and I'm going to have the suit on display. But the suit of lights she made from scratch for my daughter who plays Marigold.
That's your daughter?
That's my daughter. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! How old is she now? She did an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. She's 20.
What? I'm sorry. What? How old is she in the
20
film?
now.
Wow.
She was 11, and we shot it over 2 years. So she was 13 when we completed. So it was perfect age. And I didn't cast her just because she was my daughter. I mean, there was two things, right? I knew I was going to take 2 years to do this film, and I didn't need to have a parent, have go cold turkey on me and say, no, my kid's not going to do this anymore. Right. And Maya, she'd been in some episodes of Cholo Chaplin. She's not an actress, but my daughter has this thing that she's a very creative person. She's very talented. And when the camera's on her, she's just constantly thinking. Her eyes are always active. And so I did some tests with her on camera, and I was like, okay, I'm only getting, and I directed it like a silent film. I would tell her, okay, this is what's happening as we're shooting, or you're feeling this, or you're thinking this. And she would just go with it. But at the same time, there were days where she just didn't want to do it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What? And what would happen in those days?
Well,
like, you have to.
I remember one big thing I have with both my children is I tell them, when they were, I always tell them, I always will keep my promises to you. I will never break a promise. So when you ask me something, I never promise it unless I know I won't break it. So I tried to invoke that in them. So when she agreed to do this, I told her specifically, are you promising that you're going to do this even when you don't feel like doing it? She's like, yes, Pop, I promise. But of course, she's changing from 11 to 13.
Yeah.
So one day we were 2 weeks of prep. I had my crew here. We're going to be shooting 2 days at my mother-in-law's house because we shot in the backyard. And she just didn't feel like doing it. And my producer was trying to convince her. My wife was trying to convince her. My mother-in-law, who usually can get through to her, she just did not want to do it. And that's a day where, on shooting days, I balance being Papa and being director.
Right.
But on that day, I was just director. And I basically told her, she's like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. And I said, if Camila didn't feel good, do you think she wouldn't show up and work? And when I told her that, because she respects Camila, she's like, okay. So then she got back to it.
And she did it. Oh my God. Can I ask what scenes were those days that you shot, if you remember?
Yes, I do remember the whole day where she goes and she makes the bologna sandwich.
Okay. Oh my gosh. And that scene, she was supposed to act really happy.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay. I was gonna say how beautiful that would have fit if it was in the earlier scenes where she was very upset, but the bologna
Oh my
sandwich scene
God.
was like one of the few that I was like, oh, she's starting to be really smiley and happy-go-lucky.
It's a sweet thing, right? She's
Yeah,
making
it's a
lunch for her
sweet thing.
mom, who's going to eat real quick and take off. And my wife did a great job in the scene where, just trying to, the whole thing was improvised with the chips, like, oh, this is how you have to eat this type of
Yeah.
sandwich. So she thought that was funny, and so it was a great interaction. I really, I was really happy with the day in spite of the challenges at the beginning of it.
Well, yeah,
All
glad
right.
he got it through.
We're live with
Yeah.
Kenneth Castillo, director of Marigold the Matador and several other films. He's an LA director. Been around the game for a little bit up there in the LA streets. Keithan has a question here. In lieu of big budget films doing less business at the box office, do you foresee a move to smaller budget films being more popular?
No, I don't. Unfortunately.
Darn.
The business is very different now, and I really feel like you have, with the exception of maybe Disney, I really feel like you have people that are running these companies who don't really like movies. They don't have taste in movies. You have executives. I mean, this guy Zaslav over in Warner Brothers. It just doesn't seem like he even likes the industry. And everyone's bashing it, but they won't mention things for fear of being, I don't know. But my attitude is like, who wants to work with them anyway? Like, that's our power. If a bunch of powerful creators said, you know what, we're just not going to do business with Warner Brothers. We're going to do business with everybody else. Warner Brothers would be forced to do business because, but they're killing a lot of diversity and inclusion. Like the $40 million budget film, the $15 million budget film, I think they're going by the wayside. Some do break through. Flaming Hot, was a $14 million budget. It's doing well, which is great. But there'll be those exceptions, but it's not going to be the rule. Because even the smaller, because the thing is it's the marketing. If you spent $14 million on a film, you need to spend 3 times that to get that film out into the world. And that's always the challenge of an indie film. So that's why I'm grateful for a situation like this, that someone can know, oh, there's a small film called Marigold the Matador that's on TUBI, and I can watch it right now, or you can watch it on Amazon. And it's word of mouth. It's us getting the word out about our own films. Unfortunately, I just don't think that's going to change. I think, there's a lot of things that I think are some good, some bad. They're going to come out of the industry where it's just completely upside down right now.
The numbers are like, even for Disney or DC, it's like $100 million, $200 million to make the movie, and then at least $100 million in marketing budget, and then they have a $70 million opening weekend, and it's like, oh my God, this failure, and it's and you're like, what? And it's like, oh, it's barely crossing $1 billion worldwide. We wanted $1 billion in China.
And when you make those kinds of decisions, they can't really fail. You know what I mean? They're too expensive to fail. And the way movies are made today, they're just very forgettable. A lot of these big budget films, to me, like I don't even remember. They don't spend time on moments. And that's again where I feel like sometimes my storytelling is very 80s in that sense, where I'll have a scene play out. There'll be moments. There've been a couple of films out recently that I saw, smaller films that I really liked, where they took their time with the characters and you got to know them. They didn't have to just keep cutting, cut.
I like Kenneth flexing on me with his director's chair in the background back there.
Wait, no, like this. There it is.
Yeah.
Director's chair.
I don't have one of those yet. I need to step
That
my
is
game up.
so cool.
Absolutely.
I hadn't even noticed. Oh,
my family got me that. That was
really?
That was my Father's Day gift last year,
what's
2 years
ago.
ago.
Family? Come on,
love it.
Louise needs one. Burrito family.
It's in the name's in Old English too.
I'm sorry, Sophia. The thing that
go for it.
That gets me right is that the quality. It's one thing if you're telling me we're selling $200 million and it's like Endgame where people are getting up and cheering, or it's The Dark Knight, or it's some of these movies that are big budgeted IPs but also very high quality. but you get some of these movies and it's like it's the same beats over and over. It's the dialogue is very cliche.
Or reboots.
It just feels like everything gets written and rewritten the same way, and it's the same plot points and it's the same needle drops, and it just seems like you said, like the people that are making the decisions to greenlight some of this stuff don't like movies, don't like originality, they like money. They just see it as a business. And the main thing that you can look to is that they're super embracing AI, and they're like, if we could just get rid of the writers, and we can just have these algorithms create. Netflix was already doing it to a certain degree. It had these algorithms that were creating these shows. And then if they could just get AI to write the scripts, and then if we can get to the point where AI can replace the actors and we can do deep fakes, then we can take all the creativity and we can just churn out this bullshit that just people will just sit there and watch. And it just doesn't feel, it just, I'm trying to figure out where the stick in the wheel is, where people will finally realize that that's not happening, or when that breaking point will be. Will it be if like the strike goes on, like if the actors in WGA continue to strike and people start canceling Netflix, canceling Peacock, canceling HBO, what's going to be the breaking point where they'll realize we don't want to be replaced, and we don't want you to replace the creativity of people. You can't replace the trauma, the life experiences that you and I had with an algorithm. No matter how many movies or books you get that algorithm to read or watch, what do you think the breaking point is going to be there? And we have a question from somebody in the audience after that.
I think that it has to be fully embraced for it to fail, because the audience will reject it. The audiences will reject it, and that's when it will go away. You know, right now they think that this could happen, right? But they don't understand that. I think people still go to the movies for the same reason that they've always gone to the movies. They want to feel something. They want to connect to something. I don't feel they're going to be able to do that with AI written scripts or deep fake actors. But let them, they're not going to realize that until they actually do it and they lose money on it. And when that happens, a perfect example I'll give you is 3D. Remember 3D? Everything was going to 3D. You know, Avatar, the original Avatar came out and it was shot for 3D, right? And I'm sure a lot of people told James Cameron, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. And then it works because he specifically shot it for 3D. And then after that, they were taking every single big budget film and putting a 3D like filter over it and charging people more money to go see it. It failed because those movies weren't specifically made for that. Avatar was, but none of the others were. They just thought they could slap 3D on it and the audiences would pay extra money for it. And that's gone away. That's gone away. And I think AI and the deepfake stuff will too, because audiences, it's going to be like giving an audience sugar-free ice cream. You can taste the difference. It may look the same, and you may package it the same, but I know that when I get Ben and Jerry's and my daughter gets a non-dairy one and I grab hers by accident, I know it ain't right, even though the packaging looks similar. Yeah. So that's what I think it is. Yeah. I think it has to be that, and it's not enough just for the movies to fail, because look, Hollywood fails at these big budget films all the time and they still make them. And so a part of it is hubris, ego, you know what I mean? Like I've been on sets and I've had some Hollywood, what I call Hollywood crews, where there's too many freaking people on set. And I'm like, what is everybody doing? Well, this is how it's done, is what I'm told. And I'm like, we don't need all this. Like, you know, and I think it's just like, again, that's the way it's done. No director, I'm probably the only director that thinks, you know, about cutting costs, because I'm thinking, you know, when I hear there's a film that's made for 25 million, I'm like, okay, I can make like 5 or 10 films with that money.
I can make 25 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always been my thought. I'm like, you spent what on that? I was like, I can make 6 movies for that. What are you talking about?
But the studios and the executives don't think of it that way, right? Because they want to be able to say, oh, well, you know, they want to be able to go to some fancy lunch and say, yeah, we're doing this film. It's a $300 million budget film, right?
Ooh, yeah,
and
exactly.
You know, so it's actually a lot of it's culture. It's a lot of it's culture, you know. And TV and film are different.
there needs to be a disruptor, right? But in a good way, like
Yeah.
an indie disruptor, or because even me, when I've had meetings and I made a feature for $50,000, and I made a feature with Sofia for less than $10,000, and they're like, "Don't tell anybody that you made it for $10,000." Like upscale, like the feature you made for 50, tell them it cost you $250,000. The one that cost you 10,000, tell them it cost you 50,000.
Yeah,
and because they won't take you seriously in the room, like, and I'm like, why wouldn't they?
It should be impressive if anything.
Why wouldn't they be like,
Yeah.
oh wow, you did so much with so little, let's give you a little extra money and let you just go out there and give us something original.
And I have to say, like with not necessarily with studios, but with independent producers that watch my stuff and then bring me into a meeting and they're like, okay, this is how much money we have, how much we want to do something similar to Counterpunch or even Marigold, where they don't know the budget, and I let them think it's something, right? And then I tell them maybe later, you know what I mean? But I don't hide what my films cost in that sense, because hopefully will inspire other people to do their films, because there are a lot of people, I'm sure Luis, the filmmakers we know that think that, oh, I need $1 million to do my movie. And I'm like, well, think of a movie you can do for $500 or $1,000, because you're not going to get that million. And I'm not saying that I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but I'm just saying that stop wasting your time on that. And even if you did get $1 million and it's a coming of age film, you're not going to get distribution, and you're never going to make your money back, or your investors are never going to make their money back. So I'm very conscious about, telling the stories that I want to tell. I know who my audience is. I know the stories I want to tell, and there's a market for it. So I don't necessarily write films that I think are going to sell. I just know that the genre I'm in is a popular genre. And if I do my job well and can connect with my audience, then there will be producers and investors that will seek me out. And that's been most of my career. I don't have an agent, so.
Absolutely. All right, we had a question here from Planet Earth Theater. Thanks for stopping by. Has or will Kenneth consider directing other film projects written by other writer-producer studios?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've directed not feature films. I haven't been asked to direct a feature. Well, no, I take that back. I was asked to direct a feature film, and the script was so bad I told them no. And that was at a time too where I was kind of like, yeah, I really want to direct something, but I'm like, how? I go, let me take a crack at it, and I did, and it was just I always go with my gut, not my ego, and so I was just kind of like, yeah, man, this isn't for me, and they took it kind of personally, but you got to do what speaks to you. But yeah, if the story is right, I absolutely would be that. But I've been during COVID been hired more as a writer, and that's been something new. Like I normally only shoot what I write, and I only write for myself. But a few opportunities that came over through COVID and decent money. So the only one I would say, the last one I just got hired to write, I want to direct it. So and it is a Latino story. It's a Chicano story. And if that can get financed by September, I will be very happy.
Well,
wow, that's amazing.
If you need a second unit director, you just let me know, man. That's right.
I'll definitely let you know. We might shoot in San Diego, parts of San Diego. So.
Oh, snap. Hello. Give us the call, Ken. Give us the call.
Tarantino sort of said this in terms of like the 40s, 50s, 60s, and then the movies that came out in the 70s in terms of like the eras and the cycles that Hollywood goes through. We may be going through the days of Lucas, Scorsese, Spielberg coming in at the time of Hollywood was dead. So yeah, I kind of see that because you could definitely call this the oversaturation of like superhero movies and IPs and stuff like that. So, but the thing is, we're only in the 23, which means we might have seven more years of this bullshit before in the 2030s it gets right again. Or maybe the 2011s, 2025 is like that era of the superhero multiverse thing, and maybe in a couple of years we're getting close to it. So Keith, and you might have a good point there. One thing you did bring up, Kenneth, is because at this level of filmmaking, as an independent filmmaker, as a writer, one of the things that I struggle with is that, like you said, everything I write I shoot. So what I'm writing, or where my writing partner Brian is writing, is stuff that we're going to shoot together. And when you write a script that you're going to shoot yourself, it's not necessarily as impressive on paper as a script that you're going to put out for sale or distribution, right? We write a lot of comedy, so when I write a second or third draft of my script, I always leave space for improvisation, for changing lines on the go. Oh, say this instead, say this instead. So if somebody's looking at it from the outside and they're like, can you show me some of your work? I'm like, yeah, but it's something that I was going to shoot myself. So it's not as polished and as pretty as something that that somebody who's just, I'm a writer, I'm going to write the best damn script and I'm going to put it out there in the universe and somebody's going to find it. How do you deal with that yourself?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I will always, because I write a shooting script, because I'm writing it. So the producers that work with me know that. So they know when I'm turning something in, I'm giving them a little bit more detail in the slug lines than maybe normally. I want them to get the whole picture. And also that helps me to kind of
you're putting in musical suggestions, stuff like that. You're doing more.
Yeah,
you're putting more extra stuff normally you wouldn't put into like a script, right?
Exactly. And so for my own, a lot of my stuff has been financed while I was writing it. So I'm getting notes from producers, and at the time, the producers I work with, and this is what I go by. Like I go by the notes, and if they give me notes, they know about, and they're notes about story or character, then I know I got good partners. You know what I mean? They're not like, and there's like on the occasion they were kind of like, well, we need something more salacious here or whatever. And on those instances, my attitude is like, yeah, no problem, we'll do that. But I just do whatever the fuck I want. You know what I mean? So, because a lot of times with the producer, they just want to give you that the suggestion and they want to be heard. You know what I mean? So I don't fight with that. I just say yes, and then I move on. And whether I change it or not, I don't. But in terms of a polished script, yeah, I would say I do that more for TV, because I have 3 pilots and they're very polished, because I know I'm going to put those out there. As a sample, though, like I would take your biggest script and say, I already did this already. After you may have shot it already, right? But maybe you're trying to get a gig as a writer. I would take your script and then I would polish it up, even though it's already done and everything. Polish it up so they can see, especially since you do comedy, your jokes and your sense of humor. So that's normally what I do too. Because my second film, Ghost Town, was not a polished script at all. They loved the story so much, and we shot it, and it was like right after my first one. And then I really loved the story. And I mean, I remember I shot scenes in Ghost Town that weren't even in the script, or I remember writing a scene on set. And then I was so proud of the film that I wanted the script. So I went back and I like transcribed my own work from my film and incorporated the scripts into the scenes into the old script and updated it. I mean, it was just for my own personal wanting. And I carry that script with me because I'm so proud of it. But that's an instance where the script was not polished when I shot it because I knew I was going to shoot it and I knew the story really well. But I went back and polished it because if anyone wanted a sample of my work, I was going to submit that.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it really does.
No, like I said,
when I did that one, my kids were, God, my son was 29. So he was 4 and my daughter was 7. So I managed to do that when they were that young. And I was a stay-at-home dad.
Jesus.
When we wrote,
I got a book coming out too, Sophia. You'll be able to read all about it.
What? Do you actually? You're going.
I do, yeah.
When we created our first feature, Blacklisted, it was myself and CG Thomas, actor. He had the concept and he gave it to me, and he took over financing and getting people excited and stuff like that. And it was my first feature, and I outlined the story, and then because it was an indie film production, we shot it out of sequence and based on the availability of actors and locations. So it was like, oh, we have a tattoo shop for 10 days from now, so we can do that tattoo shop scene. And I'd be like, all right, time to write the tattoo scene. So so I was writing the scenes on a weekly basis. Like, all right, we got the mansion this week, so let's write the mansion scene. All right, time to write the mansion scene. So what I have is like 32 different scripts of different scenes that we shot.
Yeah.
And if you watch the movie, as a whole, it doesn't work as a 2-hour because it's way too long. The individual scenes are good.
Right.
as a whole, it doesn't work, and it just sort of we have it out there as like, okay, this is now the proof of concept of like what a season 1 arc would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't have
great.
But I don't have the actual script because there was never a full finalized script. It was like we were doing our first feature.
Film, yeah, if you're proud of the film, I would just go back and do that work and put that script together.
It does. It
but
does.
Look, my fourth film was like that, where I compromised too little things, throughout production. I kept compromising. Then I get into the editing room, and that's like one of my best trailers, but it's one of my worst films. And all the little things that I compromised on led up to big things in the editing room. And I mean, that seems obvious to most people, but there was a lot of things going on at that time, and I didn't think I was going to be making movies anymore. I had just lost my house, and the financing came for that. This was like 10 years ago. Yeah, this is in the book too, Sophia, so you can read that chapter.
I'm excited. You gotta send me a copy.
I definitely will send you guys copies.
We'll get a copy. No, yeah. Well, at least we got 126 actors SAG eligible through that movie. So we did.
That's you know what? I love
You're
to
the
hear
reason
you say
why
that.
it's so hard to be eligible now, Luis.
What happened?
I said that's the reason it's so hard to be eligible now, because you got 1 billion of them eligible.
Oh yeah. We were like, we did everything right.
They closed the door behind them, and now I can't get SAG.
At the end of it, I still get people asking me now. He's like, "Do you still have my SAG paperwork from Blacklisted?" I'm like, "From 2014? No, I do not."
It's impossible to do it now. I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone was getting Taft-Hartley back then.
Yeah,
oh my
we were fucking shit up.
But that's amazing that you did that for those actors. A lot of my actors have moved on to bigger and better things. Like Carlos Pratt was in 3 of my films. He's the lead in McFarland. He was green when I got him, and now he was like David Castaneda Jr., who plays Diego in The Umbrella Academy and was in the sequel to Sicario. He was in my first feature. So I think I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I think a lot of times within our own community, they don't understand the value that we as indie Latino filmmakers bring. We're not all going to be Eva Longoria, you know what I mean? But we're hiring up and coming. We're getting people into the union. We are getting them footage for reels, you know what I mean? And so
we're part of the ecosystem.
Yeah,
and I think I mean, like, I'm not one to just pat myself on the back at all, but I think that we don't get valued in that way a lot of times as Latino filmmakers from our own community and from our own film festivals.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a lot, and I think that maybe you and I commented on something about this on Twitter a while back in terms of like, we need our Ava DuVernay, I think is
DuVernay, absolutely.
Yes, she's African American filmmaker, and she goes out of her way to make sure that her projects get directed by independent or smaller Black filmmakers, and like amazing. Reservation Dogs, all the directors
it should be noted, man.
Native,
Yeah, she's helped more Latina directors on her show Queen Sugar than anybody. She's had, and I don't know, and the names I'm mentioning, I don't know them personally. I know their work, and so I don't maybe have permission to use their names, and they may feel differently. But I'm just saying, Carmen Maron is an independent director, Latina director whose work I follow. Patricia Cardozo, who directed Real Women Have Curves. Her first directing gig on television was on Queen Sugar. This is 20 years after Real Women Have Curves. So where are our Latino executives that are looking out at the independent world and giving them opportunities? Because Ava DuVernay has shown us the way, and the Latinos that are in positions of power to hire us need to do likewise, instead of doing panels and creating organizations and creating, on and on and on.
I've told this before, but I got invited to shadow a director in Georgia for like 4 weeks, and they're like, yeah, it's a $200 a week stipend or something else like this. And I was like, and then you'll be able to learn how to do it. And I was like, I don't need to learn how to direct. I just need to get into a room, and I need you to hear my ideas. I was like, at the point, my life situation was done that I couldn't just get up and go somewhere for 6 weeks.
Well, it's timing, right? Yeah,
it's timing.
It's trying to make a living, and that's another reason why it's hard for a lot of us to break through. I remember an agent made a point. He was a Latino agent at Verve, and he was saying, he's competing with people in the internships who don't have to work. They're supported by their families. And he's like, I'm working 60 hours a week and then interning at Verve for 60 hours a week. And he became an agent. And, you know, I thought his story was really interesting. I'm like, that's part of the problem. You know what I mean? We're not in some of these pipelines, particularly with the studios and television. But I think in terms of independent, like places like TUBI now is a hub now for people to go to, because our people watch TUBI. That's why I wanted to be there. That was my focus, you know.
Hey, it's free.
Yeah, that's true.
As far as they got a good library.
I had a question, because I think you're in a unique spot since you've been you know, you work in Chicano focus, sort of some of your themes, and then as well you've been working in LA. So what is your take and your perspective from the Latino standpoint? Basically the opportunities that we've had, past, present, and where do you think we're going in the future?
I think it's been a really, there's definitely been inroads. You know, I've been doing this over 20 years. I started as an actor. My wife's an actress. And when she started, or when we started, I'm not an actor anymore, but I'm saying I was trained as an actor. But when there was no opportunity there was maybe one role in one show, you know, and it usually wasn't a well-written, I don't like to use the word stereotypical cliche, because that's what everyone always says, but let's just say a role that's not well-written. And there weren't very many. Now we have a ton of all Latino cast TV shows, and that's amazing. The problem is when you look behind the camera at who's writing and directing all of these shows. And, you know, the last 5 years, my focus has been television. So I know who's for real and who's not for real in terms of providing opportunities for our people. And because I'm outspoken, you know, I probably shoot myself in the foot a few times, but I don't care. I'm at a point where I'm like, a friend of mine was like, oh, you shouldn't say that, Ken. They're not going to hire you. I go, they're not hiring us anyway, so we might as well just speak our truth. You know, I have a problem. I have a problem with a Latino influencer or celebrity constantly talking about inclusion and diversity and them getting applauded for that. And then when you look at their shows that they executive produce, they don't hire any of us. And I'm never going to call them out by name. But, you know, and then at the same time, like this one I don't mind talking about because the show got canceled and she's not going to hire me anyway. But there was a show called On My Block, and I loved On My Block. And On My Block is basically my neighborhood where I grew up in Wilmington. And so I started doing some homework on it. Of course, there were no Latino directors on their entire 3 seasons. Not one Latino director, not one. Whoa. And so I reached out to the executive producer. I reached out to who was Latino, never reached back. And then I reached out to the showrunner. She did reach back to me. And turns out she grew up in Palos Verdes, and my confirmation sponsor was the dean at her high school. And we started a dialogue, you know, and I wasn't, you know, I've learned how to ask for opportunity or seek out opportunities and emails and stuff like that. So she didn't ghosted me as they went into the 3rd season of On My Block. And because I was asking for an opportunity, either to shadow or to direct. And she knew she was writing about Wilmington, and that's where I was from. There was never more of a perfect match for me to direct a show than that show. Right. So then she goes and does Free Ridge. And the interesting thing that happened with Free Ridge was they had 3 Latino directors. One of them was an actress, and the other 2 had never directed anything. But I was excited that they had 3 Latino directors. But I feel like I had a small part in being in their ear about the fact that you're doing all these Latino shows and you do them great. She's an incredible writer and director, even though she's writing our stories. I don't take away from the fact that she's that good, but that's where we need to, the business needs to change. And the pandemic has put us backwards. And this strike, all this is going to put us behind as well. We're going to lose what little, not in terms of acting, in terms of actors. I think those opportunities, because it's a global market now. If you're on a show on Netflix, it can be shown everywhere around the world. And if you have Latino characters, I think the rest of the world will be connected to that. So that's where I feel like in terms of television. On film, it's democratized now. Anybody can make a film and anybody can get it out there. Now, whether or not you can make a studio film, that's a whole different question.
Absolutely.
All right. We're live.
That might have been more information.
On that one. No, that was amazing. We got to clip that. That was amazing.
I get told stuff like that occasionally, like, You need to be careful of what the topics you cover or what kind of people you call out, because you don't know when there's gonna. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. They're not hiring.
But
me.
you know what I realized? You know what I realized though, Luis? When you are outspoken and you do talk, the people that respect that, they seek you out. Because I have connected with some TV people who really like what I have to say and they love my work. And they're actually TV people that are helping our people in television. They just don't advertise it. Exactly. They don't look for applause either. They're just like, you know, I don't want to mention his name yet, but I reached out to this executive and he saw my work and we had so much in common. We're both, and it was like he was Chicano and he considered himself Chicano and he was writing. He's an incredible writer. And we started sharing work and stuff. And it wasn't like, hey, man, can you get me on the show? It wasn't like that. I was just trying to make a connection with somebody in this business that has kids, that is Chicano and has that background and tells those stories. And there are very few of us. So the fact that I was able to connect with at least two, I was excited about because I learned a lot from them. And I feel like they value the work that I do as well.
All right. Planet Earth says, Kenneth Castillo is a force. Thank you for speaking your truth, our truth. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for that, man. Wow. Appreciate that.
Make sure you're sub to the channel, leave a like, share the stream, let everybody know that we're live chatting with Kenneth Castillo, director. I do want to give a couple of shout outs here as we enter the first hour of the show. Let's go.
Quick. Yeah, I know that flew by.
Yeah, that flew by. All right. Speaking of Latinos in entertainment and film, there's an organization that I work with that I'm part of called Latinos in Film and Entertainment Life. You can follow them by following at somoslife.org or somoslife.org. Basically, it's a group of creatives, actors, musicians. They're LA based, New York based. They've done events in LA and in New York. Sofia and I hopefully will be hosting an event for them sometime. I think we're gonna wait till we get maybe hit our 100th episode or something, or something like that. We'll be doing an episode soon. But they are having an event the 15th of July in Santa Monica Beach, 2701 Bernard Way. They're gonna be having pitch games. Possibly
Freudian slip there.
All right. Well, I got to see what that is.
I gotta go now.
All right. I'm gonna put the link to their website, somoslife.org. You can join Latinos. All Latinos are welcome or allies. It's an organization that's trying to put some people together and get some stuff going for us in the world. And we have some good news for the show wise. I've talked about this before. When I was a kid in the late 80s, early 90s, I remember changing the channel to my TV and happening across the TV show. You remember LA Law, Kenneth?
Hell yeah.
And I remember very clearly, this is a core memory as as Annabelle was talking about on our last show. I remember very clearly just physically changing the channels on the TV and coming across a show called LA Law, and I saw this name flash upon the screen, and all it said was A. Martinez, who is an actor on the show. And as somebody last name Martinez and somebody who has a kid was dreaming about making movies and TV, it was the first time I saw my name on English TV, right? And then to see him on that show playing a lawyer, not a criminal, was a big deal for me as a kid. So I reached out through some friends, and we will be having A. Martinez as a guest on a future episode.
Yes.
He's an OG of the show. We also have an episode dropping in 2 weeks with Chris Estrada, the creator and actor of This Fool. We recorded an episode a few months back, but we were waiting to release it right before season 2 of This Fool came out.
Love This Fool.
I love that show. It's awesome.
It's great.
We love This Fool.
So great. Love it.
So we're continuing to try to highlight both the OGs, the people that are doing that have done it in the past, that have paved the way, the people that are crushing it right now, and the independents and those just a level below, breaking through like ourselves that need a little push. So, Mi Gente Show, even though, like I said, when I describe the show, I say it's like every other reactionary podcast, except it's 2 Latinos instead of 2 white guys, and we deserve our own space. We deserve to, we love everybody that tunes in, regardless of their background, allies, Latinos from all walks of life and stuff like that. Friends, personal friends. This is an inclusive show, but when we do our Latin spotlights, it's to try to highlight a Latino creative and to try to at least put them out there as well, and so they can use the appearance to reshare it and to sort of showcase their work, because I know it's kind of hard to talk about yourself all the time and stuff like that. It's easier in an interview format as well. So we want people to brag about their accomplishments, do what they're doing. We're going to keep continuing to do that, myself and Sofia, until we get too big for it.
And you guys move on.
And then we'll turn our back.
We're stronger together. We got to support each other. And you know what? We got to show the community what we're putting out there, because a lot of times we don't get that spotlight, right? So everyone, go to TUBI. Go watch Marigold the Matador. I love it.
And if you don't like it, Counterpunch, my 5th film, Counterpunch, is on there as well.
Oh, is it really? Counterpunch.
Yeah, both of them are on there, and both of them on Amazon. Counterpunch is what came out in 2013, and Lionsgate keeps putting it out on different platforms, which has been great for me because it keeps me relevant. And but that fact I have that one, which is a boxing film, and Marigold on several different platforms, but on the same platforms together, it gives people the option to, you know, if they don't like Marigold, they can check out Counterpunch, or then maybe they just be like, I don't like either one of your films, Ken.
In which case, go watch Cholo Chaplin.
Cholo Chaplin is on YouTube. Go check that out.
You're gonna like
there's many things out there. There are many things out there for you to hate. I remember I had a filmmaker tell me, like, you know, you're mediocre, you're a hack, you're this, you're that. And I go, yeah. And I go, I have so much work out there, bro. I go, pick something. There might be something you might like, whereas you don't have any work for me to judge.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, and if you don't like any of that, go watch Slapworthy with Sofia.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Look, and I've said this before, and Eva Longoria said this on an interview before recently, which is the degree of difficulty for a Latino or a person of color as a director, as a filmmaker, is like 1,000%. There's thousands and thousands of mediocre Anglo filmmakers that get to make movies over and over, and they make like Piranha 3D, and then 3 years later they're directing another movie. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Meanwhile, you or myself, somebody has, you know, if there's they can nitpick our movies and tear them apart and say, oh, it's, you know, meanwhile we're scraping and scratching to make it with like breadcrumbs and self-financing, and we don't have the ability to fail. When I feel that we're going to be on a level playing field is when we have the right to be mediocre, because everybody else has that right except us. We don't have the right to be mediocre. We have to excel every single time, or else it's deemed a complete failure and we don't get a second chance. So, like I said, give me a second. Good question here from Keith, and forgive my ignorance, but is there a Latino version of Bollywood or Mexico in Latin communities? Yeah. Even when I was growing up and seeing LLI and stuff like that, there's always been a huge, you know, you got telenovelas, you got Colombian telenovelas that get turned into Mexican telenovelas that then can get turned into shitty TV shows in the US. You have a huge, big Mexican cinema. There's also there was a huge Mexican silent movie community earlier as well, and stuff like that. And there's still a thriving, you know, Latin American film community as well.
Yes. So if you have any cable service, go to Cine Latino. You will see like just hours and hours of amazing Latino content.
And you'll see 4 of my films on Cine Latino.
Ooh,
dubbed in Spanish.
Míralo. All right, yeah. Hey, man, if you need a
I got a great story about that, but yeah, I got a great story that we have. You want me to tell? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I love telling this story because
we got Rosa that's going to show. Rosa's going to join us in a minute, but we'll let Kenneth.
Oh, fantastic! Rosa gave us an amazing shout out on Twitter about Marigold the Matador. Yay. And again, man, I didn't ask Rosa to do that. She did it on her own. You were the first one to reach out for me for an interview. Polly at the Slant interviewed me. I mean, this is what I love. This is a genuine discussion. And I'm not selling anything. You know what I mean? I'm not a salesman. It's just a genuine interest. And, you know, that's just not what I do, you know? And so I really appreciate it. And again, we have our little Chicano community now on Twitter, and Daily Chela is someone I write articles for, and Brandon over there. But this story is interesting because I've submitted pretty much all my films to LALIF, the Los Angeles International Latino Film Festival. Yeah. And all of them have been rejected, all of them. So this one, they were on hiatus for like 3 years, and I think it was their comeback their comeback festival, and I don't, maybe it was about 6 years ago or 4 years ago, and my producer calls me and he says, "Hey Ken, Cine Latino is going to be a big sponsor at La Leaf. I want you and the cast of all your films to go." And I go, "Bro, they rejected all my films. Why am I going to go and support?" He's like, "Yeah, but Cine Latino is asking for you to be there because all your films are on their platform." And the way the producer told me, it was like, he's like, "You get to have a huge flex that you've never been at that festival with any of your films, but yet you're the only filmmaker there who's gotten distribution and is on Cine Latino." So I was like, "Oh," so I go, "Okay, fine." But I know they always love to do their little VIP for all the, VIP party. I go, "Make sure I get a VIP pass."
Oh my gosh.
So I went, and I'm on the red carpet and they're asking me, "What film do you have?" I go, "Well, I have three. Actually, at that time, I only had 2 films on Cine Latino." I go, "2 of my films are on Cine Latino." And they're like, "Oh, what year did you screen at La Leaf?" I go, "Oh, I've never seen at La Leaf. I have 2 films on Cine Latino." But they did translate 3 of them. And my in-laws, they have all my movies memorized because every time it pops up on Cine Latino, they watch it.
Oh, I love that. That's pretty badass. They never got screened in La Leaf, but hey, you're in Cine Latino. That got distribution, baby. That's badass.
Absolutely. All right, we're live with Kenneth Castillo, director, Marigold the Matador, available on TUBI, as well as some of his movies, and you can watch some of his films on Cine Latino as well. Thank you for everybody that's been hanging out with us. Planet Earth, Enslaved by Vegetables, Keithan, everybody for dropping by. Make sure that if you're watching, you give this stream a like, share it, and you can catch the Mi Gente Show podcast, new episodes weekly. Usually we have somebody live here, we talk to them, and then a couple of weeks later, we drop the audio only version as well. So the next episode that just dropped was another filmmaker, Mexican native filmmaker, Alex Miranda, who was a child actor in the Lost World Jurassic Park, and he has a company called We Are Brave Bird. His episode is available now anywhere you get your podcast. He talks about being directed by Steven Spielberg and about his film called Decolonizing Dinner, which was really cool film at the festival. And then next week we have an episode with Annabelle Inigo, Cubana Dominicana filmmaker from Wish Upon a Disco Ball. And then, we're all over the place with Latino
amazing.
Creators. Yeah,
that girl's gonna get an
how many
Oscar
filmmakers are out there. Look how many filmmakers are out there.
So John Leguizamo and Eva Longoria need to get together. They need to pitch a series for HBO Max or for somebody, and then they get Annabelle, Alex, Kenneth, myself, and a few other Latino filmmakers each signed on to direct an episode. Boom.
And I can act in it. There you go.
Sophia,
or AD. I'm trying to get some kind of production job.
She can shadow us.
Fuck you.
All right. So since we're talking film entertainment, we've been talking with Kenneth. Let's bring on from the Daily Chela, official, awesome, badass film reviewer, Rosa Parra.
Hey!
What's up?
Welcome, baby girl.
Oh my God, it's been a while. Hi, Kenneth.
Wow. Hi, how you doing? Thank you. I'm so excited that you're on the show. I had no idea, but that's amazing. And then thank you so much for your shout out to my little film.
Oh no worries. It was a really good film actually. I saw a part of the interview you did with Polly at the Latino Slant, and I was like, you know what, I need to watch this because again, I don't feel comfortable going out there advocating and talking about representation of Latinos if I don't do my due diligence and go out there and support whatever's already out there. So no, it's a great film.
That. Thank you so much. Wow.
Shout out to the Daily Chela, which you guys are both a part of. Since I'm Colombian and Uruguayan, I don't qualify, but shout out to Brandon. And I know they're probably doing distribution, but if not, I'd love to screen his doc at San Diego.
American Homeboy.
Yeah, American Homeboy. I'm pretty sure he's going to get distribution by then, if not already. But if not, or even if it does, I'd love a chance to screen that movie next year at the San Diego Latino Film Festival. So
that would be great.
So shout out the Daily Chela for all the stuff that they're doing. And there's an app now where every time Rosa or Kenneth writes an article, you guys can get notified and you can read it right on the app. All All right, Rosa, what do you got for us? What did you watch? What are we looking forward to this week? I know you got into Dial of Destiny as well as Mission Impossible. Are you allowed to talk about those yet, or what's going on? What do you feel? Which one can you talk about?
Yes, I did watch Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny. I was meh on it. I think I gave it actually a rotten score. I wasn't too fond of it. But you know what? It was okay.
Was it better than Crystal Skull?
That's all I ask. It had to be. It had to be better than Crystal Skull.
By default, it is, I guess.
Okay. Paulie said the exact same thing you did. I'm still gonna see it, but Paulie said the exact same thing you did. When I said, as long as it's better than Crystal Skull, I'm happy.
Yeah. It is better, but oh man, it was quite. I think it's the runtime. I don't know what's up with these movies now. They're all above almost 3 hours each film that I've been seeing, and then the ones that are they're gonna be upcoming as well, like Oppenheimer and then Flowers of the Scorsese movie. I was like, man, these movies, they better be good to keep me engaged. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be bored out of my mind. And yeah, Dial of Destiny was certainly not the best. And Mission Impossible, I think I'm in the minority here. When I say I can't talk about it because the embargo lifted like 2 days ago. I already wrote my review. I submitted it. It should be posting pretty soon over at the Daily Chela. Hey. I know the Daily Chela is gonna be all full of my reviews. But you know what? I liked it. It's good for what it is. Also, another lengthy film whose runtime I eventually ended up feeling throughout. But you know what? I cannot ignore the magic that is Tom Cruise and his daredevil personality that just
Rosa, you have a thing for Tom Cruise is what I'm picking up on, right? First,
there's something about the old.
Do you need a minute, Rosa? Do you need a minute?
What was the other one? I
need to pull down here.
Rosa is the one person. Rosa is the one person that when you're scrolling Twitter and that thing for the Church of Scientology comes by, she immediately like tunes in to see if she sees Tom on there. She's like, "Oh, talk to me about our God, Tom Cruise."
Our God, right? No. I'm just talking about just what he does on screen and just the stunts that man pulls off, and the fact that he's doing this at his age is just. Mind-boggling, to be quite frank. And
how's East? Just tell me Eastside is a badass because he looks badass in the trailer.
My God, Esai Morales is incredible in this. Incredible. Yeah, I'm lukewarm on the movie. Everybody's praising it. Everybody's saying it's the best action film. A lot of people are saying that it's better than John Wick 4. In my eyes, it comes nowhere near John Wick 4.
Yeah, I was about to say John Wick 4 is a high bar.
Yeah, this comes nowhere near it. Pero no, it does have its moments, and yeah, you'll be able to read more about it when the review comes out. But yeah, I'm lukewarm about it. I think the middle part. You know what? I think that a lot of these sequences, and I might get some hate for this, but at this point, I really don't care. I was just reminded of a Fast and Furious movie, and
oh my God, I just watched
starring Tom Cruise, and that's it.
Oh wow.
Listen, man,
that's low praise.
I'm gonna do I have to do like because sometimes I watch movies while I work, so you know, as I'm inputting data and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm gonna watch Fast 10 today that I had downloaded, and I started watching it. I was like, oh my God, the laws of how do you go from a car racing LA culture movie.
They're in outer space
where he's very clearly Italian coded, and then all of a sudden he's a Latino from like Brazil and Dominican, and now they're just the Avengers, and it's like the laws of physics do not matter. These guys got like indestructible cars. I was like, how much this car literally can fall off on an airplane, break through concrete barriers, and then can outrun a fireball. And it's like and then at the end of it they crash into the fucking water and they have zeros. I'm just like,
I don't know how we got there.
The balls of these filmmakers, and it's not even like John Wick 4 where they're aware of what they are and they're like, we're just gonna steer into this fucking thing. It's like they're doing it unironically, and it's incredibly hilarious to me. I'm sorry. Rant over. All right, just giving a shout out here. Speaking of Latino content, if you guys are into anything nerdy, check out the Red 5 Network. Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. They're mostly Star Wars based, but they do a bunch of good shit. Shout out Ro. He's been on the show. He says he liked Crystal Skull better. I mean, all right. Keithan says, I'm telling you, old IPs are getting stale, new blood type. Yeah,
Yes,
a lot of people are saying that. That's the audience. Yeah.
Yeah, IPs. I mean, you're right. It's a combination of the two. The IPs are getting stale, but the people that are writing and the story points are so fucking similar every time. It's always, it's always the machine that they have to stop and the mindless zombies that you don't have to feel bad about killing, and it's always the same fucking thing over and over. So yeah, absolutely. That's the magic appeal in Fast and Furious. Yes, absolutely. it's absolutely, man. Like, seriously, I was like, what car is this that could just fall from an airplane, land, and still break through concrete barriers?
Doesn't matter because it's Dominic Toretto.
What's Dominic Toretto's favorite restaurant?
Oh God,
Family House of Pancakes.
No.
Oh, damn it.
It's Olive Garden, because when you're there, you're family.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
I think my answer was.
I don't have friends. I have family. Anyway,
that's actually a good joke. It was who's the director of the Mad Max film, the latest Mad Max film.
Oh, you're talking about the older gentleman? Yeah.
Yeah, he actually had said about the Fast and Fury movies. He's like, they're fine. He's like, the problem is their cars can't do any of that for real. He's like, all the cars in our movie are doing what you see them doing.
George Miller.
Yeah, George Miller. Like he had, that was a great film too. That was one of two of my favorite actors in that film, with Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy. Yeah, that was an incredible film.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how he was in his 70s shooting it too. I can't wrap my head around that.
No, that's insane. That's insane. That's like Terrence Malick and all these other directors that just keep working. Scorsese still working.
Eastwood.
I cannot fucking wait for what is it? Flowers of the Killer Moon or Killers of the Flower Moon?
I'm actually looking forward to that one. Yeah.
Flowers of the Killer Moon.
Yeah, I can't. Oppenheimer. There's so many good movies coming out this year. Barbie versus Oppenheimer.
Sophia.
Can't forget about Barbie.
Shame on you.
Right.
You haven't seen the Barbie versus Oppenheimer memes? It's great.
Yeah, no, my favorite was like, he's like, what are you gonna watch first? He's like, only sociopaths say they're gonna watch Barbie first. He's like, no, you watch Oppenheimer in the morning, then you go fucking read a book about World War II, then you go have brunch, then you go watch Barbie, and then you go out to the club.
And then you go to Barbie.
Exactly.
And you go to the club. I don't know.
And they're already starting the rivalry, because I got an email yesterday for the screening of Oppenheimer, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's RSVP. And then I got the one for Barbie, same day, same time, and I'm like,
oh wow.
Okay, I already reserved for Oppenheimer. Either way, I was gonna watch that one first anyway.
Yeah. Did you see the actors of Barbie, Margot Robbie, taking pictures watching Oppenheimer? Yeah, that was so funny. I'm like, that's
Tom Cruise as well, right? Everybody was.
Yeah.
Scarif says, "I'm so proud to say I've never seen a Fast and Furious." Man,
neither have I.
Yeah, that's
the first three.
That's like me. I've never watched Doctor Who. I've never watched those.
Watch Fast 5. Fast 5 is the best one. If you were like to accidentally, or you have insomnia one night and then you just like need to do something, distract yourself, just watch Fast 5. That one's
I can't stand Vin Diesel. I just don't believe a word that comes out of that guy's mouth.
Then don't watch it.
Okay, yeah, then no.
Then watch it when he
can't
leaves.
do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
So besides one of the things I wanted to bring up while Rosa was here, because it kind of knocked off this week, is everybody knows we have the WGA strikers going on. The Directors Guild came to a understanding, and now the Actors Guild, actually, it was funny because Fran Drescher signed a letter that the Guild had written that was addressed to her. And so it's weird, because at first I think she was angling for no strike from the actors, and then all the other actors was like, no, fuck it, we're striking. And she was like, okay, I guess so. A recent story came out that there was a story about David Zaslav, and it was pulled after it was basically about just the shitty stuff that he's done, how he's become sort of public enemy number one, because they basically shelved Batgirl movie for a tax write-off, and a bunch of his other bullshit where there's movies that get put on platforms and then they get taken off like 6 months later or 3 months later, you know, fucking over the filmmakers that sometimes are getting paid based on residuals and stuff like that. So there was an article that was going to be published about David Zaslav, about how he became Public Enemy #1, and it got pulled by GQ. And basically, it's come out recently that the editor who pulled the GQ article was actually producing a movie for Warner Brothers. So good old Hollywood nepotism and good old boys club. So the editor who pulled the story is producing a movie for Warner Brothers. You can't make this shit up. And of course there's a it's the internet, so there's a archive of the article that's available, because once it's up there, I'll put that in the comment section in terms of anybody watch. But Rosa, Kenneth, question for both of you that are sort of in the mix. You're going to premieres, you're talking with people in LA. What's the feeling right now about the strike, and are people still, you know, because I think it's gone long enough that basically this might go on for a while, right?
Well, Rosa, do you want to go first?
Oh, you can go ahead.
Well, I think what's going to happen is, well, there are two things. I think that SAG is going to get their deal and they're going to settle. So I don't think SAG's going to go on strike. I said that the DGA was not going to go on strike. They were going to get what they wanted. The writers, it's going to go on. There's going to be a 90 days where it's going to come up where all these giant deals are going to be expired, and the studios and networks are going to pull these giant deals. And so from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of pressure from some of these really big name showrunners on these shows. They're trying to get them to settle because they don't want to lose those deals. And that's going to set everything back even further, because once the strike is over, then there's everything has to start over again. Ryan Murphy actually just got in trouble because he's shooting on the East Coast. There's 5 shows in production on the East Coast, and 3 of them are produced by Ryan Murphy. And he's working as a showrunner and as a director and executive producer, but not as a writer. And so he got into it with the WGA captains. So I think those guys, the Chandra Rhimes, the Ryan Murphys, they're feeling the pressure right now because they're going to lose a lot if this goes on past 90 days. And I think it will. But if SAG doesn't strike, that's going to put pressure on the WGA to settle. And, you know, I think it's, I think there's a thing that people say in public, and I think there's things that they do in private. And the solidarity that we see, and I've said this on other podcasts, that needs to happen in the room. I'm all for a strong union, absolutely, and I'm pro-union, but you can't be if you don't want a mini room, you can't take the mini room when they give it to you. You got to say right then and there, no, this is not how it's done, and the DG and the WGA needs to back them, you know, because once you've done it, the studios are like, well, you guys can do shows with 5 writers. You don't need 12 writers or 20 writers. I mean, for comedies you do, because everyone's giving their funniest ideas, right? But for dramas, their attitude is, you know, there are people, Mike White wrote and directed every episode of 2 seasons of White Lotus. Mm. So that's what they're seeing. So, and AI is already here. I know they don't want it, fighting it, but it's already here. And like, my thing is, let them embrace it, and then they'll see that it's going to fail and how artificial the storytelling will be. I mean, it's called artificial intelligence. It's in the name. The audience will reject it. I'm confident that the audience will reject it. And then they're going to have to go back to how things were. And I use the 3D effect on movies, you know, 15 years ago, that every movie was 3D. The audience rejected it. Yeah, so that's how I feel on that. With the David Zaslav thing, you know, I just don't think the guy is, I don't think he likes telling stories. I don't think he has respect for movies and television.
Absolutely. Rosa, did you have anything else to add?
No, that's why I wanted Kenneth to talk. He's more equipped to talk about this than I am. I mean, all I can say is based on what I see. And I mean, I go to work every day, and I drive by past the Paramount Studios lot as well as the CBS one. And yeah, people are still striking. People are still out there doing their thing. And I do agree that when you do have somebody like Zaslav who is in charge of all of this, but he isn't a filmmaker himself, and he isn't somebody who loves movies or the art or even knows anything about the art, and it's just about the business. And I think that's what's very difficult about Hollywood, right? It's a marriage between art and business. And that's when it can get frustrating to hear about everything that's going on, all the decisions he's making. But on the other hand, it's what Hollywood is. Sadly, it is about the business. It is about the money at the end of the day. And it's unfortunate and it sounds harsh, but
yeah, and I think that the two major issues with right now, and what makes to me a really good producer, is they have taste.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these people have taste. And when I say that, means they know what people want to see or what people come out to see. I don't think there are very many executives in Hollywood right now who have any type of taste. They're not in the real world. They don't know what people want to watch. They're guessing like everybody else. And their taste is terrible because they keep failing with all these big budget films. And then the other thing is, what I find interesting about the Zaslav killing the GQ story, it really shows you how fragile these guys' egos are. This guy's a multi-millionaire executive in charge of, billions of dollars worth of property, right? And I'm talking just across the board in terms of what he's in charge of. But he's upset that someone wrote a bad article about him. Are you kidding me? Like, as an independent filmmaker, you know how many people I've had tell me I suck? You know what I mean? Do I try to smash, stop their voice? No. But it shows you how fragile this man's ego is, and they should just go after him constantly because he's just shown how weak an individual he is.
Absolutely. And I think that you said it earlier, Kenneth, it's going to be when it fails and it lands. Like I've already seen articles about certain publications like the AV Club and other places that their management, without the editorial board's consent, is dropping AI generated articles. There was an AI generated article that came out, I think, yesterday, and it was supposed to be a comprehensive list of all the AI, of all the Star Wars, and it had the Star Wars movies out of order. It didn't, it made a whole bunch of mistakes. And believe it, like you said, AI is here. The people at the top are not artists. Filmmaking and TV making is a collaborative art. It is the collaborative art. So unless the movies, the articles, the scripts, the TV shows that AI generates fail, don't even click on them for curiosity. It's like the Mindy Kaling show that was horrible and it got a second season because people were hate watching it. People are hate watching The Idol on HBO, and I think it might get a second season even though it fucking sucks. Stuff like that. I'm sorry, there's an earthquake over here. My German and my so I think that's got to fail. AI's got to fail. 3D's got to fail. They promised me 3D porn. It sucked. It's got to fail. So it's gotta, it's gotta happen.
Great.
So AI is gonna fail. Trust me. And like I said, like some of those picket signs, AI can't replace my trauma. It can't, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to ask Rosa while she's here, did you get a chance to see No Hard Feelings? And do you have any thoughts on it?
No, not yet.
Okay. Are you, they're saying it's trying to bring back 2000 comedies.
Oh, you know what? I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, actually.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. I'm actually interested in watching this. Obviously
I just barely caught Transformers, and that thing came out like a month ago. I'm trying to catch up. I've just had a busy schedule with school and work and the kiddos, so yeah, I've been trying to to keep up, but it's tough. And when these movies are 3 hours, they don't make it any easier either. But no, it is on my bucket list. I need to watch that. I need to watch, I think, Joyride. I also been hearing good things about that one. I think that one comes out this weekend, Joyride. And yeah, I've been trying to catch up, but no, have not seen it, unfortunately.
No worries. I'm interested in checking it out. All right, everybody. Here. Thanks for everybody that's stopping by. We're continuing live with Kenneth Castillo, director, Sofia Carr _ from OCM Wait, what? You guys need to go watch Sofia's reaction show to Coming Out for Love. Please, right, Sophia? Where can they watch your show?
That one's going to be on oml.tv on their YouTube channel. Yes.
All right. Make sure you guys go on TUBI and
Well,
watch
that's a
Marigold.
react show to
The react show.
a reality show. The react show to a reality show that I was in.
All right. And then Latino Slang coming in with his weekly hate. It's my favorite Sofia with the great Castillo and Rosa and some guy named Luigi. Yes.
We love this.
Polly.
Love you, Polly.
Dizzy said that movie was fun. I miss comedies like that. All right, cool. So the reactions have been good to it.
I heard it was
All
a
right.
solid rom-com.
Rosa, was there anything else in news, in entertainment or movies that you wanted to touch on?
Not that I can think of at the moment. I just watched Transformers. I had a good time, surprisingly, for another big blockbuster IP talking about franchises, right? No, this one was actually pretty good. I was actually surprised by it, and how to watch it because I'm working on an article where I'm gonna be just a little taste, be highlighting Latino shows, films, and performances so far, since we're already halfway past the year. So that's gonna be fun.
Nice.
You know what? One thing I want to bring up with both of you real quick before we move on to Hellscape Watch is Blue Beetle. Because we talked earlier in the show about movies that have 100 million, 200 million budgets and they spend $100 million on promotion. Mm-hmm. This movie's coming out in 2 months. I have not seen one thing about it in the press. I think that if it crushes with this little support, it's almost like they're putting us up against that. Oh, you want more representation. You want Latino leads and these movies that aren't necessarily Latino stories and blah, blah. So I don't know. Does it feel like this is like an AP English test here where like, listen, if you guys are going to get your blockbuster Latino movie, you're going to have to do it with very little promotion. It's 2 months out. If this was a fucking Marvel movie, you would already have like interviews, contests, Pepsi tie-ins, stuff like that. I haven't seen shit about Blue Beetle. So do you think this is going to be, do you think that this is being done on purpose? Do you think it's just like it's there, but just kind of give me your thoughts on it being so close to coming out and it doesn't feel like the major release as of yet. Maybe I could be wrong. They could just be trying to do like something at the end, but even smaller movies, I was hearing about Flaming Hot for several months. I was hearing about other movies way in advance. Rosa, do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh my! I rarely go to the movie theaters to watch the trailers. I always go reserve my ticket and then just arrive 15-20 minutes later, right? After the starting time, because I don't like watching trailers. However, recently I've been watching all the trailers, and every time the Blue Beetle trailer comes out, by the way, it looks incredible on the biggest screen. I hear people reacting to it, surprisingly, unlike the other trailers that are coming out before and after it. So I think it might be slightly too early just because they might be focusing a lot with Barbie and they're spending a lot of time with, I don't think Oppenheimer is Warner Brothers. Is Barbie? I think Barbie is one. I don't even know anymore. But they are I think it's a little early. Just give it a few weeks. It must have been a few months ago. I did get an email from a PR person asking me to update my address and my email because they were going to be sending goodies throughout, and I had already received a poster like a couple months ago. So I think they do have a plan. It's not being shown just yet. Pero I would be really disappointed, and oh my god, incredibly disappointed if they don't do any marketing and they just go based on the trailers.
Kenneth, did you have a thought on that?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, if we look at the guy who runs DC, I mean Warner Brothers DC, we've been talking about him a lot today. Zaslav. I mean, if we look at his track record, I have every reason to believe that he's not going to promote this the way it should be. That being said, the lead actor, I always mispronounce his name, is Zolo.
Cholo?
He was freestyling on Shady 45 the other day. I think he was.
Yeah, but he has a huge following, and from Cobra Kai, And I know that a lot of, at least the Latino outlets that I've seen, have been promoting that. But the fact that we're 2 months away and we're not seeing it, being seen more of a marketing campaign. Again, it's what in the what $30 to $40 million range, that movie.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But given this guy's track record, who runs Warner Brothers, it wouldn't surprise me if his attitude is, well, you know what, we got a popular star, let it, do. I don't see him having a passion and getting that film out and taking a risk on the marketing, which I think if people know about it, people are going to go see it, especially 90 million. Okay, good. Polly has a theory too about whether or not.
Polly, I can drop you the link if you're at the War Station at the Slant Studios. I'll shoot you the link if you want to jump on and give us your theory, man.
Make sure you put your mustache on though, Polly.
Paint on that mustache, slick back that hair, and get in here. Pick a fedora, and get in the mix.
But yeah, so I'm gonna see it. I'm excited about it, and yeah. Well, I mean, Comic-Con is when, next month? Or
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
This month. Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not at Comic-Con, man.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested in seeing what's going to happen. I'm going to see who's there, because all I've been reading about is the list. Actually, a list just came out of events that are happening, and so everybody look for it at Comic-Con.
Yeah, it needs to be at Comic-Con. If it's not there, we'll have our answer. We'll have our answer.
Keithan says it's the same folks who thought Flash was going to save DCU. Good luck. Yeah, that's also true. All right, we have a question coming in here from.
Wouldn't that be awesome though if Blue Beetle outperforms Flash?
My theory.
Oh, that would be so satisfying.
I think it's going to crush. I think it's going to fucking crush. That's my prediction. Is it's going to fucking crush ass. And all right, Polly, 2 seconds. It'll be in there. I think it's going to crush, and I think that they're going to rush after the point, like, look what the good thing we did. But it's going to have minimal promotion. I think it'll have a little bit towards the end, and it's going to fucking destroy, and it's going to be a good thing for us. So there. All right, we had a question coming in before we move on. DB, what's up, DB? Thanks for stopping by. What are your thoughts about love on streaming channels?
All right, I love it. I am not a romantic comedy guy. I loved One Day at a Time. I love that creator, Gloria Calderon-Kellett. I didn't think I was going to like it. I watched it because I know Pepe Serna, who's on there, Benito Martinez. I know a lot of actors I've worked with that are on that show, so I wanted to support. Me and the wife watched it. I dig it, and I'll tell you why. You believe the relationships, man. It's like I say it a million times. If we believe the relationships, we will go wherever. You know what I mean? And it's Gloria's sense of humor, and she's able to kind of be a little. It's funny because it's sexy, it's funny, it's sweet, it's a little raunchy at times. It's a great mix. So I'm glad someone asked about that. Or are they talking about With Love? Are they talking about With Love on? Because I think they said About Love. I think it's called With Love. If we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the same thing. But it's on Amazon, and I think people should definitely try it. The lead is amazing. She's beautiful. She's funny, and it's a really great show. And I just seen like Constance Marie working like. It's a great mix of a great mix of established stars, legendary stars, and up and coming. So I think people would enjoy it.
Yeah, we need to support Tia Glow Show. We need to support This Fool on Hulu. We need to support Primo on Freevee as well, which is really good. There's a lot. We got some stuff happening right now. We've been bitching forever.
Absolutely.
We got some stuff out there.
We've been bitching forever.
Yeah. With love. Yeah, with love.
With love. Yes. Okay. That's the one I'm talking about.
All right. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. All right, we're gonna. I shot Polly the links in your inbox. Rosa, we're gonna do No Name's Way, and we're gonna do some tabs. So you're welcome to stick around. But I know if your kids or anything needed, you can drop off whenever you want to. Okay. All right. Oh, Polly's gonna come in here real quick. All right, let's throw out the bad single. It's time for, what do we call this, Sophia?
Hellscape? What are we doing? I don't know.
Well, yeah, we're switching. We're switching. We're switching to.
I have no idea. We were in entertainment news. Are we switching now?
We're going to Hellscape watch. This is fine.
I hate it here. This is the worst part.
This is the worst part. All right, let's. Polly's getting settled in. Let's give him a couple of seconds. We're gonna get his opinions on what's going on. But real quick, I wanted to get your reaction, Sophia, on the two major SCOTUS reactions that happened over the last week. Obviously, affirmative action as well as LGBTQ protections from an imaginary case. This was an imaginary grievance. They made up a name. They picked a person random, and they said, this person wants me to design a gay website, and I don't want to. The person was A, not gay, and B, did not ask for a website to be designed. So your thoughts specifically on that during Pride Month, no less.
Could you actually like pull up a whatever article you're reading on that? Because I don't know the specific details on that one. I thought we were gonna go on student loans, and that's the one that I'm fucking pissed about.
So fuck it. Tell me about student loans.
Fuck that! They shot it down! I'm fucking pissed! Are you kidding me? Oh my god! I mean, yes, the LGBT stuff, we'll get there. But oh my god, because we had been waiting all year for a reaction. We knew that the Supreme Court is all Republican and shit, so of course I knew it wasn't gonna happen. But I had a little hope in this country that we might be a little democratic. Maybe this would pass. The freaking working class cannot catch a break. We do not get any
Sophia wanted that bag.
loan repayments. Yeah, I needed that. Do you know that would have changed my life? That really would have. But it's life-changing amount of money, and it's not that much. But when billionaires, like, they just need a loan, or banks need to get like what is that called when they go bankrupt and
bailout, when they get bailed out. Bailouts for me, but not for thee.
Exactly. Then we have an unlimited amount of money in the treasury, but no, God forbid that the working class get a little break. With the PPP loans, how many, like, not only, it wasn't just small businesses, it was big business that thrived, and all the loans, all that money went very happily to very rich businesses. And then in this case, to students, to working class, to actual people that are having a hard time, like, they can't even get a little 10,000, a little 10K,
little 10, 20K bag. 10, help us out. Yeah,
no, nothing, zero.
No bag for thee. Rosa, do you have any thoughts? Do you have any student loans?
I do, actually. I'm still paying those things off, pero I don't know. I mean, I'm not surprised anymore. It's unfortunate. I'm at a state where I'm like desensitized to all of this, and I'm just
unfortunately, I'm
like, okay, well, what's
DB, trust me, we're getting to that in a second. Keith says, I feel Sophia actually got the approval letter for the forgiveness, which makes it worse.
Yeah, me too. I got an approval letter. It was like, if it goes through, you're good to go. And then we were like, it's not gonna go through. Yeah.
All right, we got other stuff to
move out.
It's gonna happen. Look. We're talking entertainment right now.
Yeah, they'll figure something else out.
They'll figure something. We got some SCOTUS stuff that we can cover in a little bit if we have time, Sophia. But I think we've been sort of moving more entertainment this episode. And then Polly said he had an idea or a thought, a theory on that. So definitely there was a white powder found in the White House. Yes. So awesome. I love that. I love that so much.
Very nice.
Love that. Okay. That's like
which Fox News reporter dropped it.
Let's go. Let's go. Uncle Bitey back there staying awake doing fat rails before his president. Love it.
That's gonna be the new movie, right? We got what? Cocaine bear, cocaine shark, and now
cocaine president.
Cocaine president.
No, it writes itself. They're transporting the cocaine bear. There's cocaine in the White House. He breaks in. It's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we can write that. All right, but with an unscheduled, unscripted appearance here, Polly, the Latino slant, stopping by. What's up, Polly?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Polly.
It's a party.
First of all, I want to say hello to Sofia and Rosa.
Hi.
Two lovely women, intelligent, fun.
Oh, stop it.
Just I saw Rosa last week. I had to give
we
her a hug.
watched Mission Impossible together. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the great prolific independent director Kenneth Castillo and some pothead over there, in the corner. Sophia, you need to get rid of that. Get rid of this dude. The fuck, man.
I love that Luis took a big drag right when you said
that.
I was waiting
for that.
Get it out of the way, Polly. All right,
Two
Polly.
This is this is what it happened.
No.
Latino podcasts coming together.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm always promoting you guys.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
I just
you.
promoted you
Absolutely,
guys right
Polly.
now on
You're the man.
on our community page on the YouTube.
But I know I'm
page
glad
on
you
the-
came on because I know you have a strong opinion
Yeah,
about
Polly,
it.
let us know.
You've been following Blue Beetle pretty pretty
Oh, I
close,
can't talk
too.
about the Supreme Court.
Oh, please go ahead.
Or that too. Either way.
Choose
I
one.
mean, it's their
We
show.
can get into it, Polly.
Whatever you want to start with.
No, what do you want to start with?
No, let's
Sophia?
give us your Blue Beetle theory. I mean, we got a
Okay.
things we're going to touch on if you want to
Yeah,
stick around.
I think it's a little strange. Like today, like what you guys were saying, and then I heard a couple people on the Twitter talking about how like, oh, we're not hearing anything about it. I just found out that the date was August 18th. And I'm like, really? I mean, like I've known about this date for a year, and they upgraded this. You got to remember, this movie was supposed to be straight to streaming, and then Zaslav and them not only kept the movie but upgraded to a theatrical release. He believes this much in this film to keep it on his slate, which says a lot because he got pretty cutthroat with Batgirl. And but here's my thing. He's had 3 bombs in a row. Shazam, right? Black Adam, and now The Flash. I mean, one of the big, it's like one of 2 huge disasters this year with Indiana Jones as far as just box office wise. I think what's happening right now, which I think is very smart, is that they are clearing the way for the next month and a half. And they're just going to get real quiet. They want to let that superhero fatigue die because everyone's sick of these big movies not coming through, the superhero movies. Because also too, Marvel was kind of bombing too with Ant-Man. Guardians of the Galaxy is proven to have some legs. I know it's one of Rosa's favorite films of the year, but I think with DC, they're in so much. There's an influx of James Gunn coming in and like the whole new world and the whole new everything that he's gonna do. He's saying that Blue Beetle is our first character that's part of the new world. Superman's going to be the first new movie under our regime. So that does say to me something that because they're going for a whole youth movement with these superhero actors, everyone's gone, right? Sholo staying. And now you can just see that in as far as how they casted Superman as I think he's 29.
Yeah,
it's a very young man from Pennsylvania, to play Kal-El. So,
and they say we're not going to get the origin story again, which is cool.
Right. It's going to be legacy. Yeah. I mean, and we're all James Gunn fans here as far as Guardians, I assume. He knows how to do superhero films. So, I think I because everyone's like, superhero fatigue. Because I'm in those circles a lot with all the nerds that come and support the slant. Why wait?
Of course.
Did your dogs don't like the word nerd?
They didn't like it. No, they got offended. Damn.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Do you agree with me, Polly, that if they don't have a presence of Blue Beetle at Comic-Con, that says a lot?
Well, yeah, because the thing is, things have been dropping, and they were doing actually more press, I would say, a month before the Flash drop. When the Flash dropped, everything went dark.
Yeah.
Because when they were all in Vegas together, was it for, I forgot what con it is. I can't keep up with the cons names, but this was like maybe 2 months ago.
CinemaCon.
Thank you. And they showed the Flash. Well, Xolo and Bruna were there, the director there. They were dropping posters. They got swag. They're good looking people. The whole thing with the cast. But I really think what happened was that this Flash bomb. So they probably spent way too money also too trying to take the Flash to that another level that maybe that depleted some funds. But what I thought was going to happen was we were going to get the second trailer when the Flash dropped, and that didn't happen. They just kept using the same trailer because it's such a positive reaction on the trailer, and they're probably going to drop it at San Diego, which would be smart. So I like that. And then now you're starting to see new articles coming out. Angel and Xolo just did a big cover page on cover story on Game Insider, Movie Insider. So I'm going to cover that. But one thing I'm a little weary of is, as far as contractually, can Xolo or any of them go and promote if they're on strike? That's where it gets a little touchy. Okay, because no one wants to be perceived as crossing any lines at all. So we'll find out a little bit more about that by next week. That might have an effect, because you got to understand, Xolo is so popular. He's so well liked. You need him out there. That was another problem that the Flash had. They had a very unlikable leading man.
Yes.
Very controversial. No one wants, is what it is. Finally, I think, like Luis does, that I think this is going to be a sleeper hit. If it's a good film, origin film, then I think everything else is going to take care of itself. They have all the elements. They have a lot of like that young synergy going on with Becky G being so part of it. Music, kind of like what Spider-Verse did, so
it has that vibe to it, definitely.
Potentially, yeah. And I think this is the film that the Latino movie-going audience will go to. It's just got to be good word of mouth, because then they'll bring the families. So that's my kind of my theory. What's that?
And let's not forget the most important thing. The man's got bars.
A wild beast is the mode I'm in, feeling like I got a Neuralink planted below the skin, full length, Burberry plaid stripe on the trim, hustlers in the trenches, feeling the trench coat I'm in. Hold up, we ain't gotta bring the pull up. I hope the murders in my generation slow up, all locked down like Heather B, cause I'd rather be on a position to be.
So not only, so I mean, I don't know if this counts as promo, right?
So what? I'm eating witches in
out there.
Bumping Jay Dilla doing donuts, hit the track and go nuts.
All right, so anyway, that came across my Twitter feed a couple of days ago. He's out there on Shade 45 dropping bars.
Oh my god,
getting ready, promoing. But yeah, I agree. That was a well informed take, Polly.
Oh, thanks, man.
Well rounded.
Yes. Well rounded.
Yes.
So yeah, so I mean, I'm going to be at Comic-Con the entire week. I'm really interested in how that will play out. I've heard that there were some possible picket lines going to happen here in San Diego, because in San Diego there's really nothing to picket. There's trust. I mean, like, they get like one show a year, or a couple of movies and stuff like that.
That's true.
So I think it's going to be interesting to see if they do picket the Comic-Con, or like who's allowed to talk or who's willing to talk, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. How do you guys think that's going to go down? You think Polly, go ahead.
No, I was like, I know Kenneth has unlimited time.
Oh, yeah.
So.
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand the picket. Well, if it's already done and made, I don't understand the picketing of the movie at Comic-Con or whatever. That's something I don't understand, and I don't think it wins hearts and minds either. So, especially when we have a Latino superhero for the first time, not the first time, but let's just say a major Latino superhero movie that has a great lead in it and some great buzz to it. Why that they would choose to picket that, I don't know. And it's hard because you can't just picket some parts of Comic-Con. Like, I can understand wanting to picket this, as much as I dislike this Zaslav guy at the head of DC, of course I'm going to support Blue Beetle. So I don't know what the answer is to that, to be honest.
Yeah, It's gonna be interesting. I'll be trying to report, see what's going on, what I see from there.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah,
post
I'd
as
love
much
to
as
see.
you can, because I'm just gonna be here sitting with the popcorn.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is the last. I have to reapply for my pro badge. So but I do have pro badge this year, so I'm gonna take advantage of everything that I can. I'm gonna be there at all the panels. I already have a couple of panels that I saw that I'm definitely gonna try to hook up, and I'm definitely gonna be trying to get some more people lined up for Mi Gente show and Latino creators that are going to be at Comic-Con and stuff. I'm going to love.
And I do know they're going to be doing. I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing a scring at Casa 0101 in Boyle Heights, which is a theater that I've been connected with. And I believe Cholo's taking acting classes there. I believe he's taking acting classes there. And I think he's going to show up for that too. So that's the one thing I would say Flaming Hot did really right in the terms of their promotion. They didn't just do the big red carpets at the big Latino film festivals. They actually did neighborhood screenings. And I always said that is where these need to happen, in the neighborhood, not on the red carpet with a bunch of celebrities where our people are kind of pushed to the side. It's like, no, if it's a movie about the community, it needs to be shown in the community. And I already know at least that one is going to happen in Boyle Heights at a really small theater, a real intimate gathering. And so I like that. I like that they're doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
Blue Beetle's street game was not due to the geniuses at Disney. Those idiots wouldn't know a fucking Latino hit if it was put in front of their. In fact, it was put in front of their desks several times. Encanto, Flaming Hot, and The Sound of Freedom, which they bought 5 years ago, and they put on the shelf. Thank God these guys bought it back, and it beat out Indiana Jones on 4th of July. Incredible film. Mexican
that's
Mexican
the thing,
producers and directors and writers.
And that's the thing. It's not just the movie being Latino, this or that. Like a lot of Netflix is horrific at marketing to our audience. They don't know our audience, and that's the big problem. It's not necessarily the movie; it's how they market it. When In the Heights came out and they called it a Latinx film, and everybody is going to go see it that's Latino. No, it wasn't. It was not. It was a film that was very specific to a very specific part of the country, and the people that went to see that movie were people who love musicals. It wasn't necessarily a Latinx film. It was for people who love musicals. They're the ones that showed up for that film.
Well, it should have been marketed to people who love music. Should have been in every musical
Absolutely.
theater department across the country.
But that shows you how much. Absolutely. So that's my point. They tried to market it to places where it just wasn't going to do well, and then they blame us for not supporting, but it's not really for us. And then the stuff that is for us, they don't know how to get it to us. So it's a combination of things. But to me, the Hollywood's biggest problem with our audience is they don't know how to market to us.
But what we have now more than ever are people like Luis and Sofia, more and more podcasts, more and more avenues for not only you guys and creators to come on, but also for us to raise hell when Hollywood is doing shit wrong.
Absolutely.
No, and that's something I've always respected about both of you guys, is you guys do speak out. You're not afraid. And like with Rosa gives her honest opinion on films. She's probably one of the few that does it. And you can read people who are they're put in a position to review a film to give it a good review. So I think integrity still means something. As corny as I may sound, that's just how I am. But I think we have to be honest with our audience, and that doesn't happen as much. But I'm grateful for all of you and your support.
Oh,
Kenneth,
grateful for you, Kenneth.
I want to thank you again. I know you have to go, man, but I do appreciate everybody go on TUBI, watch Marigold the Matador, watch the rest of his films either on Cine Latino or multiple places. Just look up, go on your movie thing and search for movies by Kenneth Castillo, and they will pop up on Amazon, on TUBI, etc. You can also go on Kenneth's website, which is
KennethCastilloFilm.com. Everything is there. And then a little intro for my book is in there, which hopefully will be out before the end of the year.
Yes.
All of you will be getting a copy.
I expect a copy.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll buy one.
At Cholo Chaplin. as well to follow him. And like I said, man, if you guys are shooting, you need a second unit director. I got you. Sofia, I'll stand in the background. We got you. And then Rosa will be honest in her review, and Paulie will be honest in his out of the theater review as well. But it'll be all love and all support here at Mi Gente Show for you, Kenneth. Man, I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and keep pushing and keep supporting. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
I'll see you next week, man.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
You will see me next week.
Yeah, man.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella.
And then DB says, let's set up a screening at Chicano Court, man. You know what?
That's a great idea.
I'm getting more intertwined with some alternate locations here in San Diego because 2 a.m. Burrito is going to be doing a retrospective when we do fundraising for our next film, which, I love podcasting. I love chatting with people, but at my core, I'm a filmmaker. So that's why I went from having 2 podcasts to just 1, because I am writing a script currently for our next feature film. So we will be doing some screenings. We'll be doing some fundraising events. Hopefully some of the people that we've promoted and stuff that have been on the show will be able to help us get the word out there when we do get our crowdfunding on. We're going to have Nelson and Fanny from Avenida Productions on to talk about their crowdfunding sites on a new date. We're going to have A. Martinez on at our episode with Chris Estrada is coming out soon. So keep up with Mi Gente. Keep up with at Sofia Carr, me at Big Chief Burrito for all that. And obviously Rosa and Paulie, the Latino slant. Rosa with her wicked reviews. Paulie with his right of center take on the world of news and politics. And then
hold on,
homie.
Hold on, homie, because you just mislabeled me to your audience.
Here we go.
I'm an independent thinker. That gives me the right to give my honest opinion issue by issue. I don't follow the party line of the left. I don't follow definitely don't follow the party line of the right. I take them as I see them. So yeah, Luis, come on, man.
No, I'm half giving you shit, but I do feel that how should I put this? I feel like you bill yourself as center, right? In terms of like somebody that's going to take issue by issue, but I do feel that you do lean slightly right of center, and your audience is definitely right of center. So I think even though you are an independent person, because of your position and what your show covers, I think that it does slant a little bit right of center. But let me just prerequisite this: we slant way left of center. So I think that in order
so
for
when
us
you
to
come
exist,
onto my show, I don't say, oh, and here's the way left of center.
Oh no, but your audience knows.
I'm very nice to you guys.
Your audience knows.
Your
audience knows though. And you know what? Like I told you, like when you're like, hey, come on and debate some stuff. You can feed me as red meat to your audience anytime you want. Because I can take
ya dijiste, now you have to do it.
You know what I'm saying? No, because
well,
like I said,
I appreciate that, Luis. The thing is that what I'm all about is with audiences. I don't like attacking audiences. I think there's a huge table that we can all come and talk about it. If my audience happens to be right of center, I have no power over that. I definitely don't feed them like, I expose them and spotlight the Latino culture for the most part, right? I don't really do I'd say of the 100% of what I cover, maybe 20 to 30% falls in the political social issues. But anyways, we can go. I don't want to, I respect you guys.
I was giving you a hard time, but I'm always going to be honest. I'm not going to say anything that I wouldn't say to you directly. That's kind of how I feel about where your audience lives and I would never insult them. I value everybody's right, but at the same time, if you invite me on and there's going to be an interaction, then we're just going to go at it at some point, and I'm 100% okay with it. I've changed my mind about subjects and stuff like that. It all happens, so it's all good, and you are always welcome with us to talk, and I love different perspective. We're not a monolith. Not all Latinos have to be rebels, and there's conservative Latinos, there's center Calinos, there's leftist Latinos, there's all kinds of people. So
and independent thinkers.
Yeah, independent, whether or not you're You know what I mean? It's all
I don't know.
bueno.
Sophia, did you feel welcome when you were hanging out with us?
Yeah, I felt welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
See, now Luis gave me a complex, man.
Yeah, the only thing is your audience is very clearly more on the right side. So I did, say things carefully. Whereas here I just fucking go off. Over there I was like, careful. I'm gonna talk carefully here. Gentle.
Yeah, I get it. And sometimes you don't need to do that. I get it.
Yeah. We also get some like right-wing viewers once in a while here, and same thing. It just it's just a conversation.
Oh yeah, somebody will come on and they'll just be like, "Fucking Biden sucks," and we're like, "Yeah, he's a fucking worst." Yeah, he's the worst, and they're like, "Oh yeah, all right, cool, excellent." Anyway, on to bigger and better things. Like I said, you guys, we got into some no-names ways, and we got a couple of other things. You guys are welcome to stick around as long as you want. But let's talk a little bit about cocaine in the White House, because cocaine was found in the White House, which sparked the Secret Service to launch an investigation. Number one, if you see some cocaine, why would you go to HR in the White House? Like, clean that shit up, moving along. I mean, did you not watch any shows about politics? I mean, obviously, President Biden was not president at the time when it was discovered, but they found cocaine in like a library or some office. Is anybody surprised?
No.
Sophia, Rosa,
it's a big house. Cocaine is a popular drug.
Before we get going, I'm gonna bounce. No, I'm not gonna get into politics. But you know what? Fair. I'm the peace and love kind of gal over here. I love everybody, and I respect everyone independently of their ideologies and philosophies and all that good stuff. So yes. Thank you guys for having me on. This was fun. This was a blast. We'll see how Blue Beetle does. I'm gonna pay more closer attention to it after Barbie comes out, because if it were to get a lot more marketing now, it would definitely easily be drowned by what's going on with Barbie. So after the 21st of July, I'm gonna be paying more close attention to that, and then we'll see what happened at Comic-Con. So
definitely,
yes.
All right, we'll check in with you next week. Rosa, right. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, Polly, Luis, Sophia. Love y'all.
Love you, Rosa.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Good night.
All right, Sophia. Dizzy says that was probably there since Kennedy. Yeah, or since.
So I'm like, I'm not surprised.
No, this video was just a roller coaster in North Carolina. That was like somebody was watching a roller coaster in North Carolina, and they're like, "Bro, the fucking roller coaster, bro, is fucking just." Broken.
It actually broke. Wait, what happened?
Yeah, it was gone. Look at it. Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's cracking.
What does this have to do with cocaine?
Oh, I was just looking at the tabs. Sorry. I was clearing my tabs as we were doing this. Sorry.
I was like, are we like we're gonna see someone do a line and then jump on a roller coaster?
On the roller coaster, that would be probably very impressive, honestly.
All right. So, Sophia, Coke at the White House. Pause it. Are you surprised?
Not surprised at all. No, not in the slightest. I'm surprised that they got caught. I have, if anything, more questions. Who, why, where, who? Was it a staffer? Was it like, hello? Hola.
Right, listen, the issue that I hate, this is the reason why it seems very weird to me, is because I've done cocaine in the past, and I never had any leftover. So the fact that there was leftover cocaine seems like a weird concept to me, because you do cocaine until you're out of cocaine.
Wait,
you don't leave a few lines on a bookshelf somewhere and then come back to it later.
For yourself.
Unless you're like tweaking, like you're chipping during the day maybe, and you just need it to get you through the day. But if you're like, I'm doing cocaine tonight, you're doing that shit until you're done.
Wait, Courtney has a good point. That's true. Yeah. They do have cameras all over the White House. Maybe it was just planted. I'm just saying.
Holly, how do you feel about this?
My thing is that, white people, they leave shit behind, white shit behind. They don't give a these people are very
forgetful.
These people are very elitist, very wealthy. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
They're probably thinking like, the help's gonna clean it up.
Yeah.
No, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no. If anything, I'm more surprised that I got out. Like, someone had an agenda, and I don't know why, but okay. I'm all here for it.
Like I'm saying, I've very rarely seen is that there was like you would think that they would run with it, but it's like
It's not. Yeah, we've gone so far that that's not even like at all like and
the people that would attack the White House about there being cocaine in the White House don't think it'll trend as hard as the other shit that they attacked them.
This would have been scandalous in like the 70s, 80s.
Like, what's worse, that Biden is like can't remember 2 words back to back, that he trips over everything, that he's probably senile and they're propping him up with drugs every day, or that he might have busted a rail or somebody would have busted a rail. No, it makes much more sense to attack him for being a senile old fuck than it does for anything else, right?
Well, I mean, I saw some videos where his mijo was there, acting all kind of like,
oh yeah, he came over for like 4th of July.
Yeah, he was acting all googly eyes and like, hey man, what's going on? Like you could see the video. You're like, oh, Hunter, mijo, no.
Listen, I would love to see Hunter and Don Jr. like and seeing who could inhale more fucking white powders.
Wow.
Yeah.
It would be just like a dope off. All right,
so great.
It's something. What are they distracting us from? All right, a couple of other things. We have a few more tabs, or I have some no names ways. You want to help us give out some advice, Polly?
Lou, I sent you a message. Check it.
Okay.
Messenger.
You sent me a message? What?
No, Lou, not you, Polly.
Right,
but what did you ask Polly right now?
No, I asked Polly if he wanted to help us do some no names ways.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you want. I mean, I'm on your time here.
All right, cool. Yeah,
I sent out the message. Look, it's Courtney's here. She's one of the members of the Slant. She's a great lady.
Courtney, thank you for joining us.
She's in Pennsylvania, I believe. Ooh. Are you back in Pennsylvania, girl?
What are they trying?
She was
right,
really cool lady. Anyways.
Let me move some of these topics to our next week, because the way we work is I have a fucking 30-40 tabs of news that I find during the week, and then I fixed on it. All right,
yeah,
we'll just do
relevant to this week. Like
we'll do one or two new names and a couple more stories, and then we'll get out of here. Let's see if we can get reactions here. As everybody, thank you for stopping by, Keithan. Love you, man.
Thank you.
Let's kick it during Comic-Con.
You're outside Denver.
I love Denver.
I can't keep up. Okay.
Did you move, or why are you outside?
She would when I first met her, she was in Denver, I believe. Then she moved back to Pennsylvania, and I think she's back.
Now she's back to Denver. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. How's the altitude treating you, Courtney?
Yeah,
that was serious when I went. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right.
And the reason why I could be here tonight is my lady is house sitting another part of town, so it's just I'm here by myself. So I'm like, yeah, come on.
You're like, I got time.
I got time.
Time is on your side, Polly.
Who's she house sitting for? Family?
Doggy client.
Oh, that's cute.
We have a dog. We have a little doggy business.
Ooh, do you want to pimp it out a little?
It's in the LA area. We dog board, house board, day camp, all that fun stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Walks.
Nice. Do you do training as well?
That's the one thing we don't do.
It's hard.
That's the hard part. But we have 2 little ones, so it's like they have a meet and greet, and it's like if our dogs like that dog, okay, we can have you over.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so, I have 4 dogs in my house at the moment. 3 are mine, and then I have a 7-month-old Belgian Malinois who is a fucking. They're called Maligators for a fucking reason, because their mouth is always running, and even when they're like saying hi to you, like they're nibbling. And
wow.
And I'm trying to train it every day, and they are smart as them. No wonder they get used for cops nowadays, because they are fucking athletic. They can jump over anything. Mm-hmm. And they're smart as fuck, but they're also super aggressive. So it's been an experience, because right now when they all went to fucking bark at something, I guess the neighbors had just casually walked onto their yard next door, and he was just not having any of it. He was like,
my gosh.
He was pissed. Yeah. So
how did they get next door? What the hell?
No, they don't get next door, but he just he just hears everything. Any challenges with the fireworks? Yeah, I spoke about that earlier in the show. My 2 older dogs really are affected by fireworks, so I had to just stay here. I dosed them up on CBD, put on some loud music and movies, and they still were like, I think it's when the dogs have that issue. It's not even the sound as the smell of gunpowder that sometimes sets them off as well. So it is a rough time. And the other part is when Friday night football, high school football starts, because Hilltop is right here. There's a high school right here, Sofia's alma mater. And even they have the worst fucking football team in all of high school football in San Diego. But even when they lose, they set off fireworks at the end of the game. And so every Friday night during high school football season at 8:00, I have to be there for my boys. Because
so messed up.
It's so fucked up that they put them out. All right. We'll just knock out a couple of tabs here before we go. Okay. I did want to get Sofia's take on this because you're a child of the internet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, girl, we need to have a whole segment for that. I was actually going to see I'm going to need like 30 minutes with this one.
All right, can we give me a brief take? Colleen Ballinger, she was accused of grooming. She was what is it? Miranda Sings, right?
I'm gonna need 30 minutes, sir. Okay, all right.
Miranda Sings, right? So she was a YouTuber. She did a bunch of goofy stuff.
So I can be the YouTube commentator here because
can we play a part of her? Can we play just a little part of her? Let me play a little part of her apology.
Well,
I don't know who this is.
I feel like we should give some context first because no one's gonna get it.
All right, Sophia, go ahead.
So Colleen Ballinger, she is a OG YouTuber. YouTube started 15 years ago, something like that. So it's a very new platform. And when I was in middle school, that's when we started seeing the YouTubers starting to become a career. Colleen Ballinger is one of the first ones. She was very big for having this character called Miranda Sings. It's, it's a parody character. And she got very, very big with kids as Miranda Sings. And then her fame kind of translated to vlogging, and Colleen Ballinger was just vlogging her life. I was a huge fan. This is actually what got me to unsubscribe. So I've been very deep into this drama. But it was a drama that started it's been going on her whole career behind the scenes, but she got outed in 2020 by Adam McIntyre, which was one of the children that she groomed. But he was being a little too cavalier about it. So he came out, I believe he was 17 at the time, but he started having conversations with her since he was 12, 13, something like that. She was in her 30s. And what she would do...
Basically, Sophia, so let me just because you're giving a lot of context. So
it's all necessary.
Go ahead, but let me I just want to kind of add to what you're doing. She's an OG YouTuber. She had tons of young fans, and what she's accused of doing is being in these group messages with some of her fans that she claims she did because she wanted her fans to feel connected to her.
Right now, it's just accusations.
No, it's there. No, so that was in 2020. Now, fast forward to 2023, receipts were found because she's gotten she not only groomed kids in a group chat, she got them to work for her for free, do free labor, and then also kind of weaponized them whenever someone would say something wrong about her. She would get all these little kids to go and online harass them.
She had her own army,
dox them. She had her whole army.
You say
of
groom to be her
puppets,
fans.
pretty much. And now that they're all in their 20s, they're starting to come out because it was a huge amount of them, and they were 12, 13, 14. A few of them worked for her for free, actually did a lot of labor, stuff like that, where it's a lot of manipulation was had, and now receipts came out, and so she looks actually her true colors have shown. She's very manipulative. She's a narcissist. She's absolutely batshit crazy. And her apology responds to all of that. Mind you, there is not alleged. There are receipts. She responded by going dark. And then after 4 weeks of going dark, she releases this video.
Okay.
Which is supposed to be an apology.
My team has strongly advised me to not say what I want to say. I recently realized that they never said that I couldn't sing what I want to say. I am, and today I only want to talk about the facts.
So this is just the beginning of her video, but she gets accused of grooming. They come out with receipts of her talking with these kids that are underage in these group chats, answering questions about sex. She sends somebody her underwear. There's videos of her on her stage plays where she's getting kids to reach down her pants, and she was even on Comedians Getting Coffee in Cars, the Jerry Seinfeld show. She was on that show as Miranda Sings. She stayed in character with Jerry Seinfeld the whole show. It's one of the worst episodes of that series because she's very unfunny. But she gets accused, and she drops like an 8-minute video where she's apologizing and talking about facts the entire time she's on her fucking ukulele.
Yeah. Well, she's also like, the song is very like, woe is me, I didn't do anything, you guys are crazy and I'm a victim. And it's like, dude, you not only, this isn't alleged anymore, like, because she did that in 2020. Again, Adam McIntyre came out with the allegations, but he was very respectful in not showing proof. And so then he went, that was 3 years ago, he got attacked for 3 years by her fans. She made an apology video, which I was stupid enough to fall for. And again, there was no proof against all of this. So there was nothing to prove like how actually manipulative she was. So she got away with it for another 3 years until now, like they're finally screenshots are coming out.
So you were a fan?
Yeah, I've been watching her since middle school.
So you were part of this groomed nation of fans.
I could have been the
level,
fan. Yeah, 100%. I'm a little on the older side because these kids, again, they like were 13, now are like 20.
And you got an apology letter, algo, or something like that? You said?
I wish. I fucking deserve it for my wasted time. No, but as someone who did watch her vlogs like very like consistently, I will say I knew she was a narcissist. Like she does have narcissistic tendencies, but never did I think she would be a groomer who like actually weaponized and manipulated kids.
Well, I don't know anything about the history. I mean, what you just told me this first time, but just seeing this video, guys, it's a very strange behavior in this video, and everything from the eyes moving to the fact that she's singing and having this ukulele. It's not an apology, and that's just there's something there that there's probably a wire that's disconnected. So she's incapable of being honest. There are, so yeah, I mean.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's what I got from that.
And that was only the first 20 seconds. It's a 10-minute video
of
her singing.
You know what? You know what? It was 22 seconds that video. I was like, after 10 seconds, like, I don't need to say anymore.
No,
it's infuriating because if this was a guy doing it, and I'm no men's rights activist, defender, whatever person, but if it was a dude who did this, just talk to one 12-year-old, like that's inappropriate enough. This woman would be in jail. Like the fact that she got away with it for so long, like has so much proof against her. And she has the gall to respond by singing a song. Like these are serious allegations. It's not like an apology video of, oh, I messed up like a normal YouTuber. There's a whole way of apologizing. There's a cycle to like making a mistake and apologizing on YouTube. This is too far. This is like illegal shit. You actually did illegal stuff. And then more has come out, but we can talk about it next week. But more illegal activity came out.
Yeah, the song bumps. The song bumps. If you watch Toxic Manipulation Station, it's a whole thing. It's a vibe.
It's kind of been in my brain too.
It is very rare, but it is very rare. But this is a woman who has that power and has wielded it like that over the years. And you're right to say that, Sophia. It's like if this was a man, he'd be hung out to dry by now.
Yeah.
That's just that's again, it's kind of a rarity.
And rightfully so, but it should also go, extend to her. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. That's a weird subject, dude.
It's a carryover from our generation, and like you remember there was that South Park episode where it was like it was the kid in high school that was being abused or that was having a sexual relationship with like a 35-year-old hot ass teacher, and the police were like, nice. It's just a continuation of that thing that when it's a guy, it's happy, you're happy to be there, but if it's a girl, it's worse, right? It's always that thing, like for boys, they could get a teacher that could do something when they were 14, and it's like, oh man, I wish it was me, when I was 14 and my hot ass teacher, and it's like,
and it's like, no, they were groomed and abused.
It's
Courtney's for sure right. Yeah, she doesn't. At the end of the day, she's a narcissist and doesn't think she did anything wrong. She feels like the victim in all of this. And you know what? She's getting what she deserves. She's getting properly. I don't even want to say canceled because it's so overused, but her career is over as far as the internet is. She's losing sponsorships as she should, and I'm excited to see how this ends, I guess.
All right, Sophia. So you want
But
to say
there's,
you want to say
huh?
no Nama's way, right? We have a few questions, but you want to save it?
Because it might go long at this point. How many do we have?
We have one maybe serious one and a couple of funny ones, so we can just do one question.
One funny one. Yeah, let's do one short funny one, and then
see.
the rest we can leave.
No, well, I did want to bring that up because I know. So let me just.
So yes, I was gonna talk to you because yes, but I want to deep dive into it because there's actually more. Trisha Paytas came out yesterday with the new video, and I was like, oh my god, more shit is coming out, and I thought it was over. Yeah, it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
All right, so I have two last things that I would like to cover. We can pick. I'll move one to the other one. One of them is the legacy versus thing on it. We can do that, or we could do should women have the right to vote?
Okay.
What?
Should they take the right to vote away from women?
Let's do the other one.
Where? Here?
No,
I think they're
Polly,
fucking with us at
Polly,
this point.
are you aware of Pearly Things?
Just Pearly Things.
Just
Wait,
Pearly
wait,
Things?
can we deep dive on all these problematic YouTubers?
Man, no, I'm not.
No. Just Pearly Things. Pearly Things is a pick-me girl. She's 26 and she says that a woman's value declines after 25 or something like that. That you have to get married younger. She's basically an anti-feminist woman, and she has a video that's literally called "Women Should Not Vote: Reasons Why I Think We Should Repeal the 19th Amendment."
Oh, I thought we were going to No Nama's Way.
No. I said I had one more. I wanted to do one last
say
story.
one serious and one
I did one
funny.
more story before we do the thing.
Oh,
so I was
okay.
like,
okay.
So we'll
Pick a good
say
story, man. What's with these weird ass stories?
all right, Ken.
You know what's
Fine.
funny is the YouTube stories are like my bread and butter. So I was like, I could do a 3-hour PowerPoint on this
You
one.
should. You guys would probably like rake in the subscribers.
Oh
with
yeah,
all
she's
this,
getting a
like,
lot of views right now.
Crazy talk.
We need to do more of that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we'll do one anonymous way. All right, the last thing that I had that was sort of newsworthy this week. We'll deep dive into SCOTUS and the gay stuff next week.
Yeah.
And then the student stuff. But let's talk for a little bit about affirmative action. Okay. California banned affirmative action several years ago. Since then, the numbers are like I think this was in the 90s, right? When affirmative action got stopped in California. And at that point, the number of Black and Latino students in state universities either dropped or stayed constant.
After they got rid of it?
After they got rid of it.
Okay.
The study on Harvard finds that 43% of white students are legacy. So out of all the students in Harvard, 43% are legacy, meaning that if your daddy donated the building, if your daddy was the captain of the row team, et cetera, they take that into account the same way affirmative action might give extra weight to where you're from, or if you grew up in the hood, or if you grew up in poor, et cetera, et cetera. So Supreme Court basically said they're eliminating affirmative action as a right for education. Legacies are still okay, and they're still okay with affirmative action for the military. Surprise, surprise. So if you want to grab a gun and kill or die for the country, we'll take the fact that you're Latino into account or Black into account. But if you want to go to Harvard, fuck off. The backlash to this continues. Everybody's favorite demon, Stephen Miller, has threatened schools. So Mr. Stephen Miller has basically talked to law schools and said, look, I'm super fucking racist and I hate all people of color. So if I find out that you are taking into account somebody's race when you bring them into your law school, I'm going to be super pissed.
Okay.
So this is already having repercussions. So, just Sophia, what are your thoughts on this starting off and as being somebody who recently, got your master's at a California school and stuff like that? What are your thoughts overall? Yeah. A lot of people's, and obviously this is not to make this a right or left thing, but this is obviously part of the plan to sort of make America great again, roll things back to when they think it was good in the 50s, where you could get into school because of your daddy. Some people say, well, we're post-racism. This is now a full-on meritocracy. Candace Owen had the garbage ass take that said, well, if white people want to be more represented into the NBA, they need to have a better jump shot or jump harder. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
I like that.
That is funny though.
I mean, so where do you land on this, Sophia, Polly? Either one of you guys can go first.
Go to me.
Well, I'm just Hellscape exhausts me every week just because I'm like, it's similar. I mean, it's different, but it's similar to the SCOTUS rejecting or turning down the student loan forgiveness in the sense that, like, man, just you can't catch a break, you know? Like the fact that they would be okay with bribery for thee, but not for me.
Right.
I'm not saying, listen, I don't know where I stand on affirmative action of like people being forced to fill a quota. I don't know that I fully 100% agree. I do think that minorities need a chance and they need a push. I'm not a researcher. I don't know what the statistics are on all of that, but I do think that it is unfair to sue and to put so much attention on one thing because it has to do with race, but totally sleep on the fact that like your dad can buy a building and you get in, you know, nepotism, like athletes. Yeah. Like even military, like honestly, just like the fact that so many people get into good colleges because of their circumstances and then other people can't because why people are offended. I don't know. It's frustrating.
My thoughts on this are that, you know, we're not post racism yet. I feel like in a perfect world, you could say that we're in a meritocracy and that the best students should account for the student body. But they specifically went out of their way to say affirmative action bad, legacy admission good.
Okay. Yeah, and exactly. I'm like, at least be consistent.
So they're tucking out of both sides of their ass. So it's been very clear to me that all these SCOTUS decisions are politicized. And then there's the other side of the coin where they're screaming at people like me and you who are Bernie supporters or Bernie or bust people, and they're basically saying, see, this is why everybody had to hold their nose and vote for Hillary because blah blah blah, 3 judges got appointed. Fuck off. There's no reason to vote for somebody if they're horrible unless they tell you what they're going to do, and the DNC never does that. So fuck them and their fucking ugly asses. But
you guys are like, still voting Democrat even though they fucked over your boy.
I don't. I mean,
they screwed over Bernie, bro.
Fucked over Bernie. So
I mean, that was illegal what they did.
The DNC is the most corrupt organization on earth.
Yeah. So okay. So help me out here, because wasn't this decision in regards to an Asian American student, right? And he felt discriminated against because he had done everything that Harvard wants in a student, right? The great grades, the extracurricular, the blah 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 blah, right? But there is a personality test that they have that basically was saying that you don't have the personality that a Latino or a Black has, and so we're not taking you. We're going to take the Black or Latino student. Maybe they didn't get the great grades and the great accolades that you did, Asian student, but we like them better because they have better personality, the personality trait. If that's the case, I don't like that, right? So I'm kind of with homeboy. Now here's the problem: we've been behind the 8 ball when it comes to education, way before going to college. I mean, by the time we're thinking about going to college, we're already lost. The people who we want to save or have been lost for a long time. So I think, listen, I got in with affirmative action. I paid my money. I paid my
Thomas got in because of affirmative action.
I know, I'm just telling my experience.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I'm just saying the guy who voted against it got in because of affirmative action.
Sure. I mean, it's all, most issues are complex and slightly hypocritical, right? So it's just like we got to somewhere there's the truth. There's something there that can be worked on. For me, I would love the attention, the money, the resources, a new way of metrics, a new way of studying things to benefit the young students. Let's get them young, as far as being qualified and ready and ready for this world, whether it's to go to university or it's to go out in the workforce. We're not equipping our raza. We're not equipping our, whatever term you want to call, right? Legacy is bullshit. That's gross, right? I have no problem with that. I'm totally with you, Luis.
Yeah.
I do find that though that we're nepotistic by nature, so that's part of the hypocrisy, right?
Like,
we're gonna help our homeboy out, try to get in that film, try to get it, in that casting, get that job. Oh yeah, man, come and edit my shit,
Yeah,
They've
made that explicitly clear. They've made that explicitly clear that nepotism is okay. And I think Keith brought this up earlier today, that we people of color sometimes, even though we're used to knowing a guy or being there, sometimes we don't necessarily embrace nepotism, or we feel like we have to jump the extra hoop. But I think it's time to, because the Supreme Court has clearly said nepotism and cronyism and is completely legal, because they specifically said that's still okay. So call that uncle that and the guy who knows the guy, and get your shit in there, because like somebody just said in the comments, they're trying to roll back the stuff that's always kept them ahead, which is there was this big article also about like what special there was this article that came out after the rulings, and the gist of it was that a lot of the things, like you said, Paulie, like for example, like advanced student classes, that they would have black people and brown people that aced the test and got put into the advanced class. Okay. And none of the white kids in that class had to take that test. They were just because their parents said, hey, I want my kid put in advance. And at school levels, at the basic school levels, you get put in stuff like that. And we have to jump through harder and harder hoops to get into that. And they were making these kids take tests and take other tests and be like, how did you cheat? And they're like, no. And it was just this whole thing about how a lot of people have gone through this, where they had to work hard to get into AP classes, advanced classes. And a lot of people didn't have to because of legacy or choices. So all this shit is doing is rolling back opportunities, and they want to get it back to where it was before, where it was cronyism and the people who've always been there and the people who has always been in charge that get the leg up, that get the jobs and get the stuff like that. So hopefully, excuse me. So yeah, so that's my take on that. All right, we're wrapping things up here. We're just going to do one anonymous way and we're getting out of here. But I want to thank Paulie for coming on. I want to thank Rosa for coming on. I want to thank Kenny for coming on. I want to thank everybody that joined us. Thanks to Paulie in the chat. I appreciate you guys coming on and joining us during the chat. Make sure that you guys are hitting that subscribe button so that you can check us out once in a while when, Paulie's not doing his thing. And come check us out. We know you're lifetime slanners, but we appreciate you guys taking the time to come on by. So let's do anonymous. Let's do a quick anonymous way before we get out of here. Let's see what Paulie thinks.
All right. Now it's time for anonymous way.
Anonymous way. Anonymous.
All right. This one's coming straight from Sofia's kickball team, but
oh my God, what?
No.
If it's gonna be a direct attack, then I rather not.
It's not. It's just a random thing.
I know. Sophia's like, I don't like this.
I think there are multiple people on my kickball team who might kiss. That wasn't even a question. So, Sophia's in a lesbian kickball league, and apparently, shenanigans are afoot.
Oh man, that's not a question. Yes,
it was a statement. All right,
it's a statement. There, we already.
You're very open. You're very open about your.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I've never asked you. I really don't care.
I told you last time. What do you mean when I was guesting? Remember? Yeah. I told you I was bi.
Oh, you're bi. You know what? I'm also old, so I forget shit.
I'm proud.
This was because we were doing the La Firme Jaina, and I was
that's right.
I was like, sis, I'm in on this.
Okay, 100%. So you say you're bisexual. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Paulie posted a picture of
the Firme Jainas are a lot of fun.
No, you posted a picture of what's her face in the Spider-Man outfit.
Ananas, was it?
Yeah, I might have screenshotted that and done bad things to myself.
I knew.
That might be my new phone screensaver. I'm just saying.
I got a couple of new ones. I got a couple of new memes. Are hilarious.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right, go ahead. Respond, Sophia.
Yes. We already all agreed. If we lose, because we are the losers, we are the underdogs. If we continue to lose, we're gonna have a consolation orgy. I mean,
there you go. Hey, what's up?
more than kiss, please.
Whoa.
Kickball team.
Molly, it's a script that writes itself for Skinemax.
Yeah,
all right.
hello.
All right, we have all right, let's knock a couple out of these out. Okay. We'll do one funny one and then this one serious one. My loser abusive ex is just out living her life. Karma isn't happening and I'm bitter. How can I get her back without doing anything illegal or getting caught? And will you help me? Fuck.
No.
Jesus.
No.
That depends who the ex is and what the crimes are. Oh man, that's hard. Isn't that so hard when you see bad people just living a good life?
I mean, what was hard was listening to what you said. I mean, get some self-respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen,
You know?
the best revenge is a life well lived, and apparently she is living she is having revenge on you by
Yeah.
living her life well.
Live the best life you can.
Yeah.
And maybe slash her tires. I'm just kidding. Who
Boom.
said that? Who said that?
Look, you have to pretend that
White
you're
walls.
you have to pretend every day that you're so over it that you don't give a fuck until one day you believe it and you stop actually caring about it. You have to fake the funk every day and be like, fuck her, she's out of my life. I'm just gonna do my thing and focus on doing you and lie to yourself until one day you won't be lying to yourself anymore and you'll be over it. But if you want advice, and we always give practical advice, I don't know, man. I would say, fuck. What do you do?
No, that is the advice. There's
That's
nothing
the
you
advice,
can do.
Luis.
That's the advice.
There is no other.
The other advice is like get her location, find out where she is, slash her tires, break her windows. I don't know.
Look, get her
as much as
in
she
a
hurt you.
cancelable situation. Just have
Put cocaine in her house.
yeah,
I
put
don't know.
her in a weird situation, man.
My advice is if you're seriously thinking about trying to get this person back in your life, you need to seek professional help.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah, don't.
I mean, that's just not healthy. That is
Yeah.
not spiritually healthy, emotionally healthy. Beverly Damn,
Oh
Dizzy.
my God,
Oh,
damn.
Dizzy's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tires and yeah, I've heard it.
Oh, country
Underwood?
songs are the best.
What is it? What is the song that they sing every time at karaoke before he
Oh,
cheats?
Carrie Underwood
Yeah.
before he cheats.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do all of that. That's
Yeah, basically.
solid advice, Carrie Underwood.
Yeah.
I have a cowboy hat around here.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Get that going. Listen, like I said, fake it till you make it, and then go there. Other than that, just call her job and just be like, and you know what her job function is, and be like, who handles that? And then when they say, oh, it's blah blah blah, be like, oh God. And then they're like, what? And they're like, oh, sorry, I just had a really
Ruin
bad
her on
experience."
Yelp review. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my
Moving
God,
on.
the cowboy hat is on. Yes.
Moving on, because I'm a
Yeehaw.
cowboy.
Yeehaw.
On a real horse. All right. One more here while we're in a row.
These
All
are
right.
fun. I like these little ones, not the weirdo YouTube stuff.
Yeah. Much love.
That one's
Much
niche.
love,
It's
chicos.
niche.
Keep up the great work. Saludos desde Tucson, Arizona. Hey, thanks for listening from Tucson. We love you. Thanks for checking us
Tucson.
out. Tucson.
Yeah.
All right. This one is one last one here. Okay. I'm writing in because I need some unprofessional advice. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Here's the rundown. My girlfriend's birthday is coming up this month. We've been official for about 10 months, almost a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, checks out. Yeah. And we're celebrating her birthday together. She thinks it's a perfect opportunity for me to finally meet her family. They do not know about our relationship, so we will be announcing it to them.
Okay.
So she said, on having a dinner at her apartment with her parents, 2 siblings, and I've only had one past serious relationship to the point of meeting my significant other's parents.
Mhm.
That one went well enough, but I remember being young and nervous and not knowing what to say. I'm afraid of I will revert back to this form and give them a bad first impression. For some context, thank you. Her parents are pretty old-fashioned religious Mexican, and they love to bust balls. How can I
Fun.
mentally prepare? Any tips on how to win them over? What questions should I be ready for? I really do think she's one and don't want to blow it.
Aww. Men go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 months. 10 months is a good time because you have been through a few seasons with that person, and this is your first time to meet the parents. It's good. I like that. I like that you haven't rushed in. It doesn't sound like you've been rushing the relationship. That's important. And you know what? It's the first time, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to lie. Finally, after 10 months. Well,
it takes
I think
time.
I think that's pretty good, Dizzy, especially too, depending on when they started dating.
Mhm.
Because the holidays are like from November to January, are like
That's
a
true.
blip. So you got to imagine they weren't spending a lot of time during then because everyone's at different families' houses. But you've gone through some seasons. Maybe you've gone through a couple little challenges. You're still together. Doesn't sound like either one is crazy. You know what you like about your potential mate. Just be true to that, and especially with this first time hanging out in the groups, right? In the groups, just say how. Just keep it simple and like this person means a lot to me. I'm so happy I'm here. Now, here's the thing with the ribbing. You gotta make sure you got some strong skin. Don't take it personally. Do not take it personally.
Yes.
Right. Now, here's the tricky part. You can't really throw it back because you don't know.
You're not there yet. Yeah.
You don't know them, right? And they could be they could get a sentido like that. So just haha, that's funny. Feel them out too, because maybe if it's a long stay, maybe eventually you can rib it back. Then also kind of be wary of like when it's one-on-one, like with a tío or a dad. You don't lie. Do not lie. Don't bullshit. Don't be full of shit.
Don't embellish.
Unless it's in politics, in which case lie your ass
yeah,
off. Lie like there's no tomorrow.
Well, if they're conservative,
they sound very conservative and religious. Lie like there's no tomorrow. Jesus is your savior.
Or just be respectful, and yeah, I mean,
respect.
Here's the thing. If you can be respectful and like, well, I'm not from that church or I'm this, but I respect all religions. I respect,
there you go.
People aren't going to give, if they give you a really hard time like that, then it's not, you might want to rethink some things, because also too, if it gets serious, they're going to become your family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
It's an interview. It's an interview from both sides here, honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
Polly's way too good at this. That was actually like the best advice.
Oh, here we go.
This is supposed to be bad advice, Polly.
No. Well, we always give good and bad. We
always give a good and the bad, but that was like solid. I was like, mic drop, do that.
All right, I'm gonna give my take, and then Sophia will give hers. All right.
That's funny.
Okay.
All right. So here's what I'm thinking is it would be different if you were meeting them for the first time, like at Thanksgiving or Christmas. This is her birthday.
Yeah.
That means they're less likely to give you shit because the day is supposed to be about her. If it was Christmas or it was dinner at her parents' house, what I would suggest is, and you still might want to do this, is bring some flowers for her mom and like a bottle of wine or a bottle of cognac for her dad. Do some fucking, you can call it creepy or you can call it research. Do a dive into like the family Facebook pages. See if there's something that they're super into, that her dad is into, something like that, and try to bring an appropriate gift if it's at their house. And if this dinner goes well and you do get the invite to Thanksgiving and Christmas, then absolutely take that advice. Bring some flowers for the mom, a bottle of wine, something nice. And I think the fact that you're not going to get a lot of shit is because it's her birthday party and she's introducing her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen.
He has home field advantage there.
You have home field advantage there. You can be there when they show up. Be there when they show up. I think it's better if you're there when they show up because they can't really do a big react. Oh, this is my boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. And they're not really going to give her that shit. And like Polly said, take the ribbing in time and don't give anybody shit about how long you've been together or how long it took, because Lizzie, not everybody meets their soulmate when they're 17. Like,
yeah. Exactly.
She's 17.
So
Lizzie.
Lizzie's been with her husband
No,
forever.
they've been together forever, and yeah, they're
I'm so
so
confused.
happy. Good for you, Lizzie.
Here's the thing: if it's a birthday party, there's gonna be drinking. So I would really kind of like do not drink with him.
Yes, exactly. Do
Do
not
not
fall
have-
for the shots and the no. Stay
Right.
sober.
What you do is you just nurse a beer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Just nurse it all night long, because But yeah, listen. Even though they might be drinking and they get a little wild, whatever, they don't want to see you like that. On this first one,
They don't know you like that. Not yet.
No.
Yeah. That's some really good advice. Yeah, I mean, that's the best advice. A little bit of both. I liked Lou's idea about bringing gifts.
Love that.
Not
Very
showing up
thoughtful.
empty-handed, very thoughtful, but not too much that you might come off as like a kiss ass. So also
because it's her birthday. It's her birthday.
Yeah.
It's her
So also
birthday.
ask her what are they like personality-wise? Like, I don't want them to think I'm a kiss ass either.
And maybe also important, don't outshine them if they're bringing a gift or something with your gift to her. Maybe, because then that's more of like I'm getting all her love because they're her parents, so they're still gonna want some of her affection. So
Ooh.
maybe if you're gonna give her a big gift, don't give it to her at the party.
Yeah, maybe
give it to her
privately.
later or afterwards. Like if you're giving her like a bracelet or something, for God's sakes, don't propose, even if you think it's the one.
Not
Don't
on
do
the
that.
birthday.
Don't do that. Don't do
No,
that.
no. This is the
don't
first birthday.
Yeah,
too.
don't
Okay.
overshadow them. Just try to play cool.
Be thoughtful.
Be thoughtful. If one of
That's
your if one of the uncles is like itching their nose, don't go into the bathroom with them. Stuff like that. Just be helpful. Help out in the kitchen. If something is forgotten, volunteer to go out and get it. Shit like that.
You
Play
know
the
what
good
I
boy
also
role.
do is I'll cook for my. I've cooked several times for my ladies' relatives.
Oh,
You know.
yeah. I was gonna say that would be good if you're already there and you both cook together, or you did
grilling.
something- Yeah, grilling together, and you're kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, he helped me. I don't know.
They like that.
They like that a lot.
Is this a lesbian couple?
I don't know. There was.
I think
they
it was
didn't
a
have
hetero, right? It was a dude. And
Yeah,
a
there
girl.
was no context
I
here.
I get so confused when I come on mi gente. I guess
You're like, you guys.
There's
are
all
so
kinds of gente.
weird.
I don't know how to
Well,
identify.
they're saying her parents a lot, so I'm assuming this is a hetero couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
So
if they were old school religious,
What's
Mexican and
the
it was a gay
submission
couple, then it
name?
would
Is
be.
it- is there
The
any-
submission name is fuck. Okay. I think it's Mama Gaylord. No.
Shut the fuck up.
Gaylord. What?
No, it wasn't. I don't know.
No, Mama
They-
Gaylor is my kickball team. That's not.
Are these from people that email you guys?
No, yeah.
There's a link.
There's a link. We have
and-
an anonymous submission link, so they don't have to leave name
I
or
love
anything.
it. What a great
Yeah.
idea. This is
Yeah,
really
I
good.
think honestly, I think there's
You
some
thought of that,
submissions
Luis?
yeah, the no names way. Yeah.
How's this? I'm gonna say I know exactly who I sent this link to. I know who it is, and it's a boy.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I think it's a short.
That's why I wanted y'all two to give advice, because I was like, I know who it is.
How old is he?
Oh my gosh, I can't give you any more hints.
You know what? Here's the thing, though. The
20s,
best advice.
20s, very
Thank
cute
you.
couple, and
Thank
we're
you.
rooting.
Oh,
for
it's
him.
El Enamorado. You know what? I'm reading this wrong because I thought
Oh
it was
my
a
God,
different
Luis.
question. It's a different. I thought it was a different question because they broke the paragraphs. But this is the person that says, "Much love, chicos. Keep up the great work. Saludos desde Tucson. P.S. This is not the plot to meet the parents." And the name is El Enamorado. Okay, sorry, I got
Oh,
it. Okay,
see, it's
so
a
El
boy, it's a boy.
Enamorado.
I know exactly who.
That's the advice. Yes.
Oh
all right.
man, yeah.
All right, cool. All right,
That was solid advice.
We're gonna wrap things up, but since we have Polly here and you kind of spoke about it a little bit earlier, I am considering watching this movie on my own, even though Jim Caviezel is somebody who I respected as one of the most talented actors of this generation. I absolutely love them in The Thin Red Line. He did sort of go down the QAnon rabbit hole for the last few years, even though he still continues to be a talented actor. And then there's this sort of area of discourse where it's like, yeah, absolutely, everybody is against child trafficking and stuff like that. But there seems to be like this thing where people, like, if that's not the only thing your personality about it, they sort of like, some people make that their entire personality, I guess, or not necessarily entire personality, but they make it a really defining subject when I think it should be something that everybody, no matter which way you lean, should be against, right? And this movie came out, and I've been seeing a lot of things about it, people buying tickets for each other. The fact that Jim Caviezel's in it, and I know it's a Latino director,
Producer, writer, director. actors, music,
actors. So
Shakira lent a song.
So as somebody who might not, it's on my radar, but it's not necessarily a movie that I would like run out to go see. Polly, you did see it. It's called the Sound of
Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. Can you give us kind of like a little, because I know people can watch on your channel your like initial reviews. You got teared up about it. You were very emotional about the film.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a rough topic, but can you give us a little bit of more insight why maybe people like me and Sofia who might not be the target audience should go see this film?
Well, yeah, sure, of course, Luis. First of all, everyone should go see this film. There are very few films that that can touch your heart and elicit change, for good, But that's the power of cinema, and this is Sound of Freedom. It is the subject matter. It's based off a true story of a gentleman I believe he used to work for Homeland Security. Tracking down and arresting pedos. I'll try to watch my language. I know it's YouTube. And he felt he wasn't doing enough because he wasn't getting to the actual victims, which were children, whether coming out of Latin America or different parts of the world. That was the world he was involved with. So he decided just to basically go rogue and do his own thing. And, from what I gather from his story, he has saved a lot of children as far as creating his own operations, his own stings, and capturing, these very dark people and kind of like what they do. Okay, so that's kind of like the fuzzy back, true story that I gather from it. The movie revolves around, there is that backdrop to where Caviezel's character, he's playing Tim Ballard, who he's unhappy with. He just he wants to do more. So while we're being introduced to that, we're introduced to a brother and sister from Honduras, and how they are and the father are roped into this audition to be stars for these little kids, and they take them, and it's absolutely horrible. I mean, like so the storyline is trying to get these kids back. Okay. It's kind of like that first part almost feels like a doc, but then it kicks into kind of like a little bit of a Taken, let's
set up some action.
It's got action. It's got a cast of characters. It's the cinematography is beautiful.
It's
the
also
whole
PG
thing.
or PG-13, right? It's
PG-13. So the subject matter just hits you no matter what, but they don't show anything. They're very tasteful. It's very, I mean, you don't want it. You know what I mean, right? This director is from Tamaulipas, Mexico. Fantastic director. He also co-wrote it. And the producer is Eduardo Verástegui, who, like you said, like a Caviezel, they're known for being very religious and kind of pro-life. They're very outspoken. Okay, so if you can discern that, put that to the side. I think it's worth it, because Caviezel really is. You almost forget what an incredible actor he is. I did, because I hadn't seen him in anything in a long time. Simply, just he's a stunning leading man. You just cannot take your eyes off of him, especially with this story. I highly recommend it. I cried. I broke down twice in the movie theater. And then from what my friends, because I went with all guys, they're saying, because when you did that, it allowed me to cry, Paul. And I was like, that's what this is all about, man. Yes. And I literally, Sofia, I had to, after the movie was over, because I usually do my out of the theater reviews. Oh, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Matt, I needed 10 minutes just to like gather myself. And even then, when I did my out of the theater, I was very emotional.
Oh, man.
Very emotional. So what else did I want to say?
So you're saying there's nothing really like, so so for people that might be concerned that it might be propagandized, maybe, or that it's because Jim Caviezel, obviously, Passion of the Christ, you know, he's been super outspoken, like you said, extremely, you know, pro-life. But is there? You're saying that it's not necessarily that. Is there a lot of that you have to put to the side to
No.
enjoy the movie, or is
No.
it, or is there some, but it's not enough that it taints the story in itself?
Yeah, I mean, there is talk of God in the film.
Okay.
It's organic in the storylines with these characters, but it's not a faith-based movie. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's the it doesn't draw on that. There is a line that is sung in Spanish and in English where it says, "God's children are not for sale." You know, very incredible film. You know, filmmaking. A lot of Latino actors are in it, good guys and bad guys. But in regards to his personal, you know, what do you say, like beliefs and all that stuff, that's not in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know Tim Ballard's life. I would assume he is. You know, for me, I didn't know any of that going into the movie, so I was just completely blown away. I will say this though. At the end, when the credits, as soon as the credits start to roll, it says special message. And then it was a countdown, a 2-minute countdown while the credits were rolling. And I'm like, well, what is this going to be? Is there some kind of weird? Is this where a message is going to happen? Right? Boom! Right? Caviezel comes on. The credits are still rolling. It's a message that he's telling us, the audience, about the importance of the subject matter, and the history of this film. Disney bought this film 5 years ago and shelved it. They bought it back. They raised money to buy it back. Then they're working with Angel Studios, which does release faith-based movies. I think it did that Kelsey Grammer one recently. The point is, that's Angel Studios, so that's who the distribution is. Incredible speech he gives at the end. It's very pro-humanity. I don't, you know, like I didn't get, and you know, I'm born again, Luis. Like, you know, I didn't, but that's my personal business. I don't impose on that on anybody, right? But you asked me, I didn't get any of that even in that speech where he's Jim talking to the audience.
Okay.
It's a unique device that is working to where he's literally saying, buy a ticket for a friend after you see it. You know, kind of how like Golden House does, or like they'll get the Raza groups, the black groups to buy, you know, let's get a bunch of people. To me, it's the same thing. So yeah, that's you know, freedom.
It sounds interesting, and like I said, I wasn't trying to bring it as like a, you know, like I say, but if we're being honest, like as somebody who is, you know, a little bit jaded in terms of like the propaganda that sometimes comes out from the, you know, not necessarily the true religious people, but the religious sort of, you know, right, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like I do think there's a distinct difference between people that are true believers and people who use it for their personal gain. I don't want to dismiss it because of my perception of what Jim Caviezel might be, or whether they might be going down the QAnon rabbit hole and stuff like that. And I saw your initial thoughts on it, and it seemed like you were being very genuine in it. And I was like, wow, maybe I'm dismissing this. Maybe, you know, I should take a look at this film for its merits and not immediately judge it, you know? So I wanted to ask you about it, obviously. Because listen, if you have a good storyline and a good score, I cry and get teared up a lot at movies.
Yeah,
you know, you give me
emotion.
What a
good movie does, right?
You give me. But I love film. I love film, and I love that you can sit somewhere in the dark and it can bring out all these emotions and make you want to be a better person, make you want to change, give you a different perspective on something. A documentary can. You could be a different person after watching a 90-minute documentary because it's something that you didn't know about. So I want to be open to it.
Well, and Luis, you said something earlier. It's like, you know, this should not be a left or right issue.
Absolutely.
In regards to what we're talking about. This is the stats that they put up at the end devastated me. Yeah. Very scary. of what's going on here in the States with that. And they were very politely dancing away from that in the story. It was more like, you know, this is happening.
We're gonna focus on one thing.
They're focused on you know, like, you know, this thing happening in Latin America, but they said the biggest market is the US for this, what's going on. And so no, it's not a right or left thing. I didn't feel that any of that at all. It had a lot of great humor in it at the right moments because it's so serious. You know, great actors from Narcos Mexico, done for $14 million. I mean, it made that the first day. This is, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think it's an awesome. I think look, let's add that to the list of things that us and Polly agree on. Biden is horrible. The DNC is the most corrupt organization on the planet.
They all are.
And,
they all are.
They all are.
And child trafficking is wrong. We can all agree on that one. And it affects our people in Central America, South America, Mexico a lot,
bro.
And so yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm a crier looking like movies. Yeah, I because I have so many things about dogs, and when I scroll Facebook, I get all these dog stories, these dog rescue stories, and sometimes I'm just like, oh, I got to go hug my dogs right away. They're all asleep, and the Belgian is right here next to me. Let's do Belgian cam before we go. All right, that's Belgian cam. Wait, where is he?
Yeah,
is that Milo?
I
see the butt.
That's Milo.
That's
Milo.
the butt.
That's Milo. Wait, there he is.
Milo.
Oh, Milo.
Milo. He's up.
Milo.
Can't see him. Nope, just see your leg. That's it.
Milo.
Oh, there he is.
Look at my dog.
Oh, baby.
Good baby.
Oh, he's a cutie.
Yeah, he's a cutie.
Honey, come here. Everyone's showing off their dogs. I feel like, no. Come here. Come here. Bring your chair.
Sorry, it's a mess. My dogs are destroying my house.
Here's Honey.
Oh, it's a dog off. Milo, come here. Get up here. Oh my God.
It's a dog party.
Oh, it's a dog off. Look at the doggies.
Holly, what's your dog's name?
This
What's
is
your
Mr. Butters.
Mr. Butters. Hi, Mr. Butters. Oh, he is so calm.
What? You fucking woke me up. I'm gonna go back to sleep.
How old is Mr. Butters?
Butters, I think, is like 4 now. He's a fat butt.
Cute, he's so fluffy.
And he's a boy too. All right, baby. And then of course the other one comes by because he's jealous.
Oh yeah, I love dogs.
You have 2?
You like dags?
Bear Man, Act of Killing, The Look of Silence, all these Oppenheimer dogs, they make you cry.
Yeah.
Yes, Milo's
right.
in the house. Mellow.
Nice.
All right, guys. Polly, once again, man,
That's the show.
I appreciate you for coming on and having your takes and sticking by them. And you know, we're always down to collaborate or come in a constructive and honest fashion, talk about any of the subjects that affect Latinos. You know, we're always down to clown with regards to that. And we thank you for doing this impromptu meeting here with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Polly. Also, who is that?
That's
More
Bandito.
importantly.
Bandito.
Look at that little beauty.
Hola,
Bandit.
Bandito.
Yeah. They're brothers. He's just more Chihuahua.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what? You know, that's cool. You get the best of both worlds, though. You get one fluffy one short coat.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, man. I always appreciate it. And we need to get the Mi Gente crew live on our show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're in.
Also, whenever I do your show again, I need to talk about Aristotle and Dante because I read that while I was in Europe.
Oh God, I love that book.
I loved it.
Book.
Yeah. So I was like, okay.
When I read it years ago, someone just had recommended to me, and I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And then I read it, and then at the end, I realized, it was a young gay guy coming,
You didn't get it? You didn't realize it?
No, because I'm not coming at it,
from that perspective.
From
yeah.
that perspective.
And then, yeah.
What I got was a kid was such a loner. It was so beautiful, and so it was really. But then you read it again, you're like, oh, okay.
You're like, I get it. Yeah.
So I hope the movie does it justice.
I hope so too.
Is that the one that's coming out about?
Yeah, Lynn is directing. We talked about it when I guested on Latino Slant, but I hadn't read the book, and this was right before Europe, so I read it now.
Is that the one about like the Prince of England and like the guy from the U.S. falling in love?
No, it's a Latino. Yeah.
Oh no, there was
takes place in Texas in the 80s.
No, there was a trailer for something that happened today, and it was like it's like the president's son and the king and the Prince of England. The royal,
right?
But it's a gay like rom-com / drama.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, the royal. We'll check it out.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
We'd love to be on.
I think what's really important is that great art, hits us in different places, and
absolutely,
like you said, like, oh, you didn't get it. It's like, no, I didn't. I'm not coming from it. This is where I'm coming from. But it affected me,
exactly,
like Sound of Freedom did. Whatever artist, and then he happens to be gay. You learn after the fact. It's like, well, I don't care, man. I was affected by it. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And so I'm always hitting that up on my with my audiences. I feel that a lot of people nowadays, when with the reactions, right? It's like they're quick to react in a negative fashion and doesn't do anyone any good. Oh, this is groomer. Oh, this is that. It's like, calm down. You know what I'm saying? Like shit ain't like that. And we gotta cooler heads always prevail, Luis.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, we're not a monolith. We come from all over the place. We come at things from different perspectives, from different life experiences. But at the end of the day, we're all from the same, tree of the evolutionary tree. So we got to love each other, support each other. And even though we might not always agree with each other, realize that we're all stuck on this same rock together. So
oh my God, he's getting existential again. Jesus.
Well, can you just not deny that? You got to just let me be. You can't just always say that.
Continue. We're on the rock.
We're all on this rock together, and we're floating to an infinite space and time. And we don't know how much longer we have until we crash into another rock and we're all evaporate. So let's just love each other, make art, and love each other. So, Polly, thank you very much for stopping by, man. We'll say goodbye. Me and Sophia will give our goodbyes, but you're always welcome. You always got the carte blanche.
Love you, Polly.
Love you guys.
Got the link, right, brother? I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Oh gosh, I love him.
Fuck yeah. Well, I mean, an impromptu Polly.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Good night. Que tenga buena noche.
Hey, DB, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, DB.
It's Courtney. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Really good commentary in the chat. Love him. Dizzy, Miss Lizzie.
Mello, Lizzie,
Mello.
Keith, and anybody that I missed. Thank you guys for being a part of the show tonight. Planet Earth Theater. There's a bunch of people randomly, allegedly, but also really. Thanks for stopping by. Everybody that's in there. Thank you. Fuck. Yes. It was a great show tonight. You guys have
jam-packed with stuff. It was
first time viewer, you guys have great conversational topics. Enjoy the show. Thank you.
Oh,
I appreciate
thank you. Wow.
Give us a follow at Mi Gente Show. Give us a sub. We're live either Tuesday or Thursdays every night. You can catch the audio version of our podcast by searching for Mi Gente Show literally everywhere you get music and podcasts. So
hell yeah.
Thank you very much for everybody that stopped by. Lizzie, we got to have you on soon to talk pop culture. Thank you, everybody, for stopping us. We've done 3 hours. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Leave a like, leave a comment. Love y'all.
Like all that good stuff. We love you. Peace. We'll try better next time.
Hasta luego.
Bye.
Vamos, papá, hay que irnos. Me estoy aguantando desde que pusieron el domo.
Puedes esperar. Muchas personas trabajaron en esta película y solo quieren que te aprendas sus nombres de memoria.
Y yo quiero asegurarme de que ningún animal resultó lesionado durante la filmación de esta película.
¡Listo! ¡Uy, palomitas en el suelo! Oh.
Espera, parece que Maggie tiene algo que decir. No, su primera palabra. ¿Qué escuela?
años de escuela.